Any one of you on the Zoom, if you have any questions, you can type it in the chat window. Okay, so what is a network? Anyone?
Server and user connection.
Correct. Server and user connection, or basically network is nothing but a collection of multiple devices. Right now, all of your laptops over here are connected to the router. This is example of a network. Good till here. So what is a network? Network is ideally a connection of one or more devices. It can have one device also. By the way, at 2 a.m. in the night today, was anyone connected to the router? No, right? Still it was a network, which means it is not mandatory that a network should have a device connected to it. But if you have it, it is good. Good till here, fine. So what I have is, I have a network where I have multiple devices over here, 3 and 4. This basically is the network of AWS, and it is the AWS network inside Mumbai. Mumbai, by the way, is also known as AP South 1, right? Okay. Let's say I decide to have a machine or a server over here. This is a Linux server. This is a Windows server. Put in here, fine. This is where inside data center of Mumbai. Let's take a typical data center of Mumbai. It is in BKC actually. Bandra Kurla complex. This is actually where the data centers of AWS are. There are 2 data centers over there. I am over here inside Bangalore, inside Marathalli, inside a place where my router is there and my machine is there. From this machine, I have to connect with my AWS machine inside Mumbai. Put it here, fine. So how will I connect from this? By the way, is my network. This, by the way, is AWS network. Fine. How will I connect from my device over here to AWS network and this machine? How will I connect? Through internet. Correct. Now, first problem with this approach is, if I am connecting via internet, I can connect and you can also connect. I am authorized and you are unauthorized. So how will I stop you from connecting through internet?
There is an organization where you can stop.
Correct. Security fine. So how will the, so let's say someone is over here in Marathalli, someone is over here in HSR. They are also connecting to this machine. What are the ways by which you can make a security to this? First way is software, like you said, authorization. Go and give me the ID and the password. But maybe someone so-called hacks into my machine and gets my ID password. So how will I stop them? VPN, correct. I can use it via VPN, but VPN works where? Over the internet. What is VPN? Network connectivity over internet only. If my ID password can be hacked, VPN can also be hacked. Got it? So what is the next way to do it? These always are via software. Yes, next one. Gateways, fine. Gateways are also there. Internet can be breached at any point. Highly improbable, highly difficult, but nonetheless it can be done. Good till here. So how will you stop it? This is the same way how you do it from the banks. First way of connectivity, not many people know, but please use this word in the interviews. We call it as DC or direct connect. Okay. What is direct connect actually? So what AWS says no is you are connecting directly over here, right? Don't do this, not secure. What I have done is I have gone to Bangalore in eCity and I have created and bought a data center over here of entity data. Entity data is securely connected to my network. Okay. How? Via wires it is connected. Somehow it is connected. You don't have to worry about this to this. This is secured. AWS anyhow is secured. The only thing you have to do is from your network over here, go and buy a network connectivity from here to here. This can be done via Airtel, Jio, Vodafone, and I believe you get the picture now. Got it? Call up, go to Airtel, go to AWS, go to Direct Connect, buy a connection of Airtel. Airtel will actually go and give a connection from here to here. This is an actual hardware connection, not a software. So it cannot be breached also. If it is from here to here, you would be connected from here to here. Got it? Now, how will this go in the interviews? What will you tell the client? You will say, I was working for a big bank in Middle East. Middle East until 2 weeks back didn't have a data center in Dubai. but Dubai banks were still working inside AWS, right? If I don't have this inside Dubai, Dubai will be ME South 1. If I don't have this, what will I do? This I would connect to any data center. Let's say AP Southeast 1 or AP South 1 Mumbai. My bank or my infra would be connected to AWS direct connect in Dubai. And direct connect in Dubai would be connected to AWS Mumbai, which means I am actually connected to my data centers in Dubai. Got it? Now this thing is not used because you already have a data center. But please tell this story in the interview. This is the first way how to create a network. Direct connect. Clear? Now, just like this, AWS also has one new thing for those of you who are really. Roland, if you are watching this or whenever you watch this recording, especially for you, inside AWS, there is something known as AWS Locals. This thing is so new that it is only present in US at the moment. The concept. In India, I only have the data centers of local. Okay, data centers are only in Mumbai. But these small data centers for direct connect are in Bangalore. I have in Chennai. I have in Kolkata. I have in Mumbai, obviously. And I have in Delhi and I have in Hyderabad. Okay, these are the data centers where I have. Now the problem is, if I am, let's say, somewhere in Kerala, I should be having a local data center in Kerala. If I am someone in, let's say, Telangana, I should have, Telangana has Maharashtra has MP, let's say, Madhya Pradesh, okay. Then I should be having a local data center over there, Andhra Pradesh, yes. If I am in Andhra Pradesh, then I don't have a local data center, I have to connect to Hyderabad. The concept is, why do I have to connect to a different place or to a far off location? AWS said for all the states of US, I only have 4 data centers as of now. I will go and create one local data center in every state. Advantage, dear to me, speed is fast. Got it? This concept is known as AWS Locals. Fine. So in this case, what you will do, let's say if I am, right now I am in Bangalore, it is fine for me. But let's say if I go somewhere in Andhra, okay, in that case, I would be connecting to my data center in let's say Vijayawada. Okay, so there I will be connecting to a local data center. Advantage, it is fast. But this story only applies to US. Please tell this story as it is no one else. Okay, you will say my client was in US and I was connecting via local zone. Surely the interviewer will ask you what is local zone. Tell this story as. And they will say, how is it different? You will say, how is it different from direct connect? Direct connect only had 4 local speakers. DC has 51 across US at the moment, and it is increasing. How much? California in local zone itself has 2. California has a data center of AWS. It had 1 local zone. It has 1 additional. They are increasing it like that. Okay. This concept, by the way, okay. First of all, we had our local networking, which was actually known as on-prem. This is the evolution of cloud. Now we are working on cloud at the moment. We are going one step ahead and we are calling it as edge computing. Ever heard about edge computing? You are seeing it actually on your phones. If you say, hey Google, hey Siri, hey Alexa, where is the compute happening? Data centers? No, it is happening in your local device. Try it out. Weather is working, fine. You go to Google and ask, hey Google, what is the weather right now? Even if internet is off, it will still tell you. Means it is doing that computation in your local device. This is known as edge computing, edge devices. Okay. We right now are in the process of transitioning from cloud to edge. Should happen in another 10 years. This has already happened. If you all are sitting over here, it means if you are learning about cloud, this has happened. Edge is going to happen in the next 10 years. It is not that smart also. You ask your, hey Siri, without internet, a normal question, it will say, sorry, I am having trouble connecting to internet. Okay, same with Google. But it is nonetheless happening. Good for you to understand in case you are looking for future. Anyways, why this local zone is going a step towards edge computing. It is saying don't go to the data center in Mumbai, go to the nearest available place. In some time, this will transition into more places. We will reach there once we put it here. So what did we understand with our hardwares, our networking of hardware? Basically, 2 concepts. One was direct Direct connect AC. Second is local. So how will I connect? Go till here. Fine. Let's go to the next one. And the most important thing. But before that, fine. First concept to understand is IP address. I will be doing this, telling this in approximately 30 minutes to 60 minutes. After that, straight away we will jump to it. Okay, please pay attention. You miss anything, everything is wrong. Okay, first concept is something known as IP address. What is IP address? Anyone?
In the report, every system
We have a unique IP address. Fine. Every system will have a unique IP address that is sure. Second, if it is unique, it means obviously it cannot be repeated. Third is, if your machine is connected to the network, it will always have a IP address. Okay. First thing what we said, it is unique. Two of you are on laptop, right? Please go to Google and type my IP address. Now, those who are on the laptop. If you are connected to the Wi-Fi, please go and type my IP address now and tell me what do you see. What do you see? 171.76.8. Anyone else? What do you see? My IP address. Just below that IP address where you search into Google. Okay. Okay. That is open Google. Google. 171.167.2. Same thing. 171. Now, what let me say inside IP address? First concept, it is unique. If it is unique, how can two people have the same IP address?
Both are connected to that order as well as public.
That is the public IP address. Here comes the concept. This router, your laptops are connected to internet directly? No, your laptops are connected to that router. This is known as the public IP. Your machines don't have IP address, or rather, your machines have two IP addresses. One IP address which is known only to this machine. It would be something like 192.168.1 dot something or 192.168.0 dot something. That is known as the private IP address. Second is known as the public IP address. What is that? You connected to the router. This is the address of the router. So, why this is important? This concept, by the way, is known as NATing. Okay, this same thing I will be using inside a NAT gate. This concept is NATing. All of your machines which do not have internet at the moment are connected to one router or one gateway which has internet. So all of you are having the same public IP as the gateway. This concept is known as NATing. Okay, that device is known as NAT gate. This they will ask you a lot, 100% in the interviews. What is a NAT gateway? That is a NAT gateway. Got it? So any of your machine which is not connected to internet at the moment, just okay. Any of your machines,
Ankit, just
which
for a
are
second.
not connected to the internet fundamentally, but somehow via some
Yeah,
router or some gateway
Ankit, am I audible?
connected to the
Yeah.
internet, this is known as a NAT gateway.
Okay, guys, those who are taking
If they
online,
ask, for sure, if
this
the client
concept is going
US,
to be on
they
board
will bug
for
you
a
lot
while,
in NAT.
and then
The
we'll
moment
switch
they
to
ask you
laptop.
NAT, no. Do you know what
This is the
NAT
only
is?
concept
Right
which
now
we'll be
when
having on the
know
board.
what
Next
is
will be
NAT.
on the laptop
I
itself.
inside
Thank
my
you.
house, my laptop doesn't have internet, but I am connecting to you. How? I am connecting to router, my television, my watch, my laptop, everything is connecting to router. That is NAT. You are connected to a router, right? That is also NATing. Is your phone, if your phone is on Wi-Fi, it is NATing. If your phone is on cell phone network, it is not NATing. Because that device itself is a router and it is connected to the network. Got it? So tell them this thing that this is the meaning of my NATing. Good till here? Fine. If this is understood, let's go to the next part, which means my any device over here will always have two IP addresses. One is the private IP address and one is the public IP. Good till here? Fine. Now, next concept. This device has to communicate with this device. How will it communicate? Over the private IP or the public IP? Public IP. Okay. You are part of the same network. You are part of the same. Okay. Let's take it like this. Let's say I stay in a building and the building has an address. Okay. Something, some location in Bangalore. Fine. I stay in flat, let's say 003. You stay in flat, let's say 405. Now, what is a public and what is a private? This whole thing is a part of a building and a building has an address 1. Okay. This thing is address 2. This thing is address 2. This, by the way, is a public address, private address, and a private. Got it? Obviously, right? This is the public IP of the router, private IP, private IP. This machine or this person has to communicate with this person what they will do. They will go outside the building, then they will ask for the address, then they will come inside, then they will go to this. They will do this, or they will directly communicate, right? So if this machine has to communicate with this machine directly, it will happen via the private. Public IP is not required. So if you need public IP, you can also go for that. Understood? No. Good. No, right? Good. Anyone who understood this concept? Okay, then tell me. If you told me, if you understand, please tell me. Please go and type open command prompt right now on your machine. CMD. Type IP configure. 192. 192.1.6 now. Your IP is 192.168.1.6. This is machine 2. What is your IP, man? It should be something like 192.168.1 dot after this one. No space, only IP config. One dot nine. Now, if this concept that I am going to tell, if you understand, you are good. Okay. This machine 2 has to communicate with machine 1. How will it do? What IP will it be? Private IP. Which would be this machine 192.168.1.6 will send the IP address of 192.168.1.9. Are we good till here? Yes. Fine. Now you are connected to the internet via your phone. Okay, you are not connected to this network. You are connected via phone. You have to ping his machine. How will that happen? This concept you understood, the private one. Fine. You are connected to the internet via your own cell phone network. So can you ping him on this IP? No. How? You can't ping, no, because you are outside the network. So how will you ping him? The answer is, in this case, it will happen in 2 steps. First,
We will take it to public IP.
correct, and then the private.
Internal to private IPs they will be coming.
Correct. If my building address is address A1 and you have to reach my flat, you have to do 2 things. Just you say flat number 003, I am not visible. Just you say A1, I am not visible. You have to say both A1 and 003. Put till here, fine. If you have to ping him, what you have to do? First, you have to ping him on this IP. This is the public IP. Next, you have to ping him on this IP. That is the private. Understood the difference? If you have to connect with anyone over internet, you need 2 addresses. Just you say public IP, it is never going to work. If you just say, no, I will pick this IP, you will connect with the router. You will never connect with the machine. Okay, so you always need one, the public IP, second, the private. Put till here, Fine. This is also an interview question. They will say inside my network, my backend machine has to interact with my database. How will that happen? The answer is private. If they say can't it happen via public IP, you will say public IP, so it can happen at any point of time. Right? That is not a mandate. Private IPs. Good to hear? Private IP and public IP? Sure? Good. If this is understood, let's go to the last. Networking, you might have seen something like this range. What is this known as? CIDR solution, right? What does CIDR stand for? Classless inter-domain routing. Routing only, no? Just Google it. What is the full form of CIDR? I believe you should be able to. This is range or routing? Routing. Routing.
Classless inter-domain routing.
Classless inter-domain routing.
Okay. We good till here? Okay. Now, this thing, what does it mean? It is telling me two things. Actually, this whole thing is telling me multiple things. This is telling me if you are inside a network, what is the first IP, what is the last IP? It is telling you all the IP addresses in the range. How? Easiest concept. First IP address is anything before slash. So the first IP address becomes 10,000. Put till here. Second, total number of machines in the network is based on a formula. 2 raised to the power of 32 minus n. Okay, what is n over here? Anything after this slash. So how many machines are there inside this network? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 26. 2 raised to the power of 6, which is 64. You will not understand the importance of it right now. Once you are in the interview, and they will ask you this, and you have to speak this formula as it is, then you will understand. And I can guarantee almost, means not everyone has that bad luck. Few people have. Half of you will have that bad luck also. They will ask you, do you understand CIDR? And you will be like, and then that will happen in the interview. Okay. If you don't understand anything, remember 2 raised to the power of 32 minus. If you remember what I told you, okay, then just remember this formula. The moment you say 2 raised to the power of 32 minus n, they will generally ask you this. Okay. Now again, half of you will never realize the importance because your interview will happen without this. Half of you having bad luck will remember this, and then no worries, do the recording at that point of time. Anyways, how many machines are there? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 26. What is it? 2 raised to the power of 6, which is 64. This means how many machines are inside that network? 64. If first address is 10,000, last address will be 63. Do you understand why 63? Why not 64? Because first machine address is 10,000. Second machine address is 10,001. Third machine address is 10,002. So you see a pattern, right? 64 machine will be 63. Good till here. Another 12 minutes and we will start with our AWS on the console. This thing is important. I'll tell you why. I believe they asked you to create a VPC inside Terraform, right? There, if they had gone, means because you did it so confidently, they were good. If not, they would have asked you to tell me how did you calculate that. There you will have to do this. So whenever you created the CIDR block, you would have done something like this one. they might ask you what is this 24 and what is this 10. This 10,000 is nothing but the first address. 26 is this is known as the block size. If it is 24, how many machines are there? First, what is the formula? Okay, 2 raised to the power of 32 minus n. 24 means how much? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 24. 2 raised to the power of 8, which is good. 256 is okay. If first address is 10,000, last address will be 255, right? Go till here. Fine. Last concept inside side array. Let's say it is slash 23. 23 means how many machines are there? Calculate. 512. Fine. Because he said so, I have to trust him. It is 512. First address is 512. Address will be 511, right? Good. But here is one catch. The catch is any of these IPv4 addresses of what format? A.B.C.D. Sorry, starts from 192. 192. That you are talking about the address A, B, C, D, E. Where is A, B, C, D, E? Inside IP address. What IP address? Internet IP address. This is my network. I can create whatever I want. Once I go to the internet, then I have to worry. This is my network. I can create whatever I want. Okay, fine. If IPv4 address is of what format? A.B.C.D. The property is range of this will be 0 to 255. Good till here? What is the range? 0 to 255. So what was the address over here? 10.00.511. Is that possible? Not possible. So what is the address in this? To understand that 10.0. But everyone, if you are telling the answer, you will have to explain. Who told the answer? What is that answer over here? 10.0. Fine. Please tell everyone how did it come? Sit down. Yes, this is not college. Very, very complex. Thank you. We are starting right now. Don't make it that complex. No one will understand that. Fine. Your answer is correct. And technically, if you give this answer in the interview, interviewer will also be that much scared as much I am. He'll understand you know a lot and then you are done. Done in good sense. He'll say you understand networking. That answer is the perfect answer actually. Okay. Yes, correct. But let's make it easy because we are starting. So let's assume the time right now is 10:30. Okay, let's make it 10:40. Okay. What is the time after 30 minutes? 10:70. No, right? The moment it becomes 10:60, what happens? This becomes 1 and this becomes 0. And then 10 minutes are left. If you understand this concept, that is what he said. 10,000 will go all the way up till 10,000.255. Put it here. After this, what will happen? This becomes 0 and this becomes 1. Okay. And this goes to 10,001.255. What he said was absolutely correct. 10,001.255. Got it? Now, same thing if I have to make it /22. Any one of them. That's it. We are done after this. We will start with the practical. 22 means how many machines? 10, 24. You are good in maths, no? Tell first. Perfect. And after that, 1024 is correct. And after that, first address is and last address 0. 3. Why? This will go all the way up till one iteration of 256, right? Next 10,010 all the way up till iteration 2. Fine. Got it? Fine. How much? 256, 256, 256. How much is it? 768. Last one is required, which is 10,030 all the way up till 10,003.255. Remove everything else. What are you left? 10,003.2. Got it? Let me make this, okay, this is understood. Now don't listen to what I am saying, 5% only register in your mind. The answer, mathematically, how I do it basically, I will rarely make a mistake. How many machines are there? 1024, right? In one subnet or in one iteration, how many can be there maximum? 256, right? Divide it. How many you have? 4. So you know ideally you should go to 10040. But I know from my mistake it can never be 40. It will be 3.2. Got it? It should ideally be 10040. It will go one less. That is the easy. The same thing I make it /20. 20 means how many machines are there? First. Calculator, take over. Tell me any way. 20 means how much? 2 raised to the power of 12. You know the answer. Let me ask you. 1 GB has how many megabyte? Good. 1 GB is how much? To the power of 10. If I am saying 20, how much does it mean? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 20. 2 raised to the power of 12. 2 raised to the power of 12 is nothing but 2 raised to the power of 10 multiplied by 2 raised to the power of 2. 2 raised to the power of 10 is how much? We already know that. 1024 multiplied by 4, which is 4096. Okay, that way you can easily do. Just remember anything to the power of 10 is 102. Okay, works in everything. 4096 IP addresses I have, divided by 256. How much you have? 60. You could have done it by this also. 256 is what? 2 raised to the power of 8. 10 plus 2, 12. Division that, please. Anyways, how many are there? 16. Starting is 10000. End will be 10015.2. Enough of maths. This I only did once. This I believe was asked to one person who got it in US basically. They did nothing in Kubernetes. They simply gave him one use case scenario. They said, CP, we were creating Kubernetes cluster. And a Kubernetes cluster, it went short on size. What does it mean? Short on size. If I say my range is 26, how many machines are there? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 26. 2 raised to the power of 6, which is 64. So how many machines maximum I can have? 64. Even if I want to go ahead, can I do? No. Network once created, done. This was their problem. They said we created 64 machines. We had to go and delete everything and create everything from scratch. Their simple question was, if you were in our place, what you would have done? And your answer would be, why to make it 26? Make it 20. How many machines you have? 4096. Make it 22. How many machines you have? 1024. Make it 16. How much you have? 65,536. The ideal answer that got him selected was make it /16. First, you have 65,536 machines. If they say, don't you think IP address will be wasted? You will say, why wasted? My network, private network is communicating with the internet. No, my network I can create as much as I want. First thing. Second, you would have said AWS itself does 16 only. There would be a reason why it does. That's it. Select. But in US it happens that easily. They will give you a live scenario. I did this problem. I fixed it somehow. You tell me how will you fix it. Got the answer? So this CIDR log range actually is very important. Keep this in mind. We go till here. And now, honestly, the last concept to understand. And then we start with our VPC inside it. Ready? One break? No? Good. My VPC is 10.0.0/24. Or let's make it easy. 26. 26 means how many machines are there? 256, 254, and 64. And one more option. 64. KBC we are playing. 3 options I have. 256, 254, and 64. One more option I need you tell me. Say any number. 0. Fine. 26 is how much? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 26, 2 raised to the power of 6, which is 64. Starting address is, end address is. Put till here, this whole thing is known as a network. We understand this, right? The problem is, this whole network, big network, if it is 26, it is easy. If it is slash 20, it will become difficult to manage. So what I will do is I will break this big network into multiple smaller subnetworks. This concept you might have heard is known as a subnet. Okay, so what is a subnet? Nothing but breaking my big network into multiple smaller networks. Why? It becomes easier for me to manage. And why does it become easier? My network size is how much? 64. Inside this, I will have backend machines also, front-end machines also, database machine also. Do we understand what backend, front-end, and database is? Please say no. No? Good. Let's talk about that very quickly. Backend, front-end, and database. Backend would be a programming language, a backend server. It can be Java. It can be PHP. It can be Python. It can be Node.js. It can be Golang. It can be anything of the backend. Fine. Front end, you already know HTML, right? HTML or Vue.js or Angular or React. Multiple JavaScript are there. That is the front end. Database, example of a database. Given. Good. Mongo, good. And Cassandra, MS SQL, MySQL, Oracle. Okay, so first thing, backend, front end, and database. What is the most important? If I am starting a company, what is the most important thing? Database, right? Database, correct? Database is where any of these things. Should my database be exposed to everyone? No, right? It should be a private, restricted thing, or else it becomes a problem. So this thing is the most protected. This obviously should not be exposed to the internet, right? So it should go inside a private network. Good till here. Front-end website, everyone should see. Sure. So this should become part of a public network. Okay. Backend should be visible to everyone or not? No. Correct. Particular database, exactly. Or let's take an example. You open up google.com. You are given a login page. You go and give your ID and password. What happens after that? You go and type it and you type submit. After that, what happens? Front end page will send a request. To whom? Server. Server is what? Backend. Front end is sending to backend. It means backend is public or private?
Both public and private.
It is both public. If it is private, your browser on your local device cannot send a request to backend. If everything becomes public, then it's a problem. Let me give you an example. You open up youtube.com. It goes and sends a request to Google. So can you also send a request to Google? No, it means it is private. But first time you logged into Google, you were able to make a connection. It means it is public. Like he said, it is a combination of both public and private. They will ask you this question. These two are easy. Front end always public, database always private. This one is bit tricky. They will ask you whether it is public or private, and your answer is nothing. It is both. Depends on my application. If it is a secure financial application, it is private. If it is user authentication, it is generally public. Got it? This is combination of both. Following me till here? Good. Now, this DB, this front end, and this back end would be working on some servers. Servers are machines. Machines will be inside a network. Network is this network. So will this complete network be Will this complete network be a public network or a private network? No. This network, I will break it into multiple smaller subnets. This will become subnet 1. This will become subnet 2. This will become subnet 3. That's it. This is the last thing and most important thing. Pay attention. This whole network, if I make it as public, then this also becomes public. If this whole network I make it as private, this also becomes private. Problem, right? So my big network, I will break it into multiple smaller subnetwork. This subnetwork would be private. This subnetwork would be public, and this subnetwork would be private and public. And this whole network in itself will be nothing. If the subnet say I am private, I am private. If the subnet say I am public, I am. Got it? So whatever security logic you have to apply, you don't have to apply at VPC level. You have to apply it at subnet level. If you understand this statement, that whatever security I have to apply at subnet level, not the VPC level or AWS VPC is fine. That is. So whatever now, if I have to apply all the security in the world, I don't have to worry about this and this. I only have to worry about subnet 3. Advantage is pricing also. It would be there. Okay. If this is understood, then basically how to create the subnets. Now this thing honestly very few people are going to tell you, but unfortunately in the interviews they will ask you this, so you need to understand mathematical calculations. This thing now, if I have to be honest, no one will go deep down to this level. The moment you say 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 26, you are done. They won't ask you. But if you are having a very bad day and you are going at a very senior level, then they may ask you. Okay. So comes the concept 10.0.0.26. I have to go and create multiple subnets itself. How will I create the subnets? Just remember 2 rules very quickly. First, remain inside the range. Second, don't do a conflict with any other subnet. Very easy to understand. First, if I have a hotel, room number 0 to 100, you can only take room from 0 to 100, right? If you want room 95 to 105, is it possible? No. Remember that rule 1. Don't go outside the range. Second, don't do a conflict. He is having room number 0 to 10. He is having 11 to 20. You need 5 to 12. Can you have that? No. Second answer. Don't do a conflict. Good till here. Let's start. My VPC is 10.0.0./26. Fine. Subnet 1 will follow these 2 rules only. Let's say my subnet 1 is 10.0.0./28. What is the starting IP address of this? How many machines are there in total inside this? 37. Formula. 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 10, right? How many machines? First IP address is 10.0.0.0. Last IP address would be 15, right? I forgot about this VPC. VPC first IP is, right? Last IP address is 2 raised to the power of 16. How many machines are there? First tell me. 26 means how many machines? 64. If it starts at 0, it will end at So subnets now, whatever you create, just remember it should be inside that. VPC is the father, okay? Be inside that. Subnet 1 is 0 to 15. Got it here? Fine. Two rules remain inside the range. Is it inside the range? Yes. Good. Second, don't do a conflict with any other subnet. Is it doing? No, it doesn't have only any other subnet. Valid subnet. Next subnet, SN2. This one ends at what? 15. Next will start at
16.
so can I write like this? 10.0.0.16/28. Why? First IP address is anything before this, right? So first IP address is what? Fine. How many machines are there in total? /28 means how many? 16. Starts at 16. Will end at? Good. Two rules remain inside the range. 16 to 31. Is it inside the range? Yes. Good. Second rule, do not do a conflict with any other subnet. Is it doing? No. Room number 0 to 15, room number 16 to 31. Are we good?
Yes.
Fine. Next subnet, SN3. This one ended
17.
31. 32, 30 to 28, right? 28 means how many machines? 16. Will start at 10.0.0.32. Will end at how much? Good. Who said 47? Very good. All of you understand why? Or he will explain why. 31 plus 16 or 32 plus 16 minus 1, 47. Two rules remain inside the range. Are you? Two rules remain inside the range. Are you there? Yes. Second, don't do a conflict. Are you doing a conflict? No. Good. Last, SN4. That is the 0 dot. What is 48? All 5 answers you gave. This is wrong in KBC. Here also they will ask you 4 options. This one ends at 47. Next will start at 48. This one will start at 10.0.0.48. It will end at, correct. I also did this. Thank you. This will end at 60. Good. This is subnet 4. Next subnet, SN5. This one, okay. 48 to 63. Is it inside the range? Yes. Is it doing a conflict? No. This one ends at 63. Next one will start at starting addresses and address will be. I will do the calculation. 28 is how much? 16. 64 plus 16 is how much? 80. 64 plus 16 is 80. 80 minus 1 is 7. 9. Two rules remain inside the range. What is the range? 0 to 63. Are you inside the range? No. Invalids. What is? How many subnets would be there inside this? 4. If it is 28. If it were 27, 27 will have how many machines? 32. VPC had how much size? 64. In that case, you will only have 2 subnets. Okay. Confusing? Yes. Forget it. Last thing to confuse you. /28 is how much? 16, right?
Yeah.
How do I do it? Let me tell you. After that, I will end it. Not required until you reach architecture level. No, there you will have to do this in your mind. But that is another 10 to 12 years. No need to focus, but just listen. 28 I said, right? 28 is how much? 16. I actually just follow the table of 16. 16 multiplied by 0 is 16 multiplied by 1 is 16 multiplied by 2 is 16 multiplied by 3 is 16 multiplied by 4 is. Just if you tell me 28, I will straight away tell you what the stick is. If you tell me 27, I will start. 27 is how much? 32, I will start 0, 32, 64, 96, 128, 160, 192, 224. If you say it is slash 26, 26 is how much? 64, I will say 0, 64, 128, 192. If you say it is slash 25, 25 is how much? 128, 0, 128, next will start 0, 120. If you say it is 24, I know table of two. That is all. But again, not required right now. Once it is very clear in your mind, then follow it. Very last thing. You never ask me why is the formula 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 7. You never ask me why did you say 32, not 33 and 34. Let me tell you, not required for this. What is the range of this? 0 to 255. How much in total? 256. 256 is how much? 2 raised to the power of 8. 8, 8, 8, 8. Total is how much? Okay. But again, forget it. This is this. You don't want to get selected in an interview and you want to tell the interviewer that you only don't know anything. Then go over here. They will reject you. You will have a sense of pride that I know everything. But anyhow, if you go to that level, they are going to reject you. No one knows up to that level. We put in here netting, direct connect, and local zone. Any problem inside your VPCs now? Yes. If no, then let me tell you the architecture diagram. Like she told you yesterday, AWS will ask you to whiteboard.
Sir, while creating VPC network in Subnet works, if you IPs the AWS will
I don't that I am not telling right now. 5 IPs, starting 2 and last 3. That I am not telling anyone. Once I go there, then I will ask this question. I made it 28. It should be 16. It is saying 11. Why? There I go. Okay. Fine. We proceed now. Now, how is our typical infrastructure built on? Pay attention. If you are going into Amazon, you will have to build this type of Amazon. Let's start. This is my region of Mumbai, AP South Market. Fine. This has 3 AZs or availability zones. AZs are inside Mumbai. I have 3 different buildings: 1A, 1B, 1C. Go till here. Fine. This one is 1A, 1B. If it is AP South one, let's say this whole is the big network. Network is VPC. Remember one thing. VPC is at the region level. Subnets are at the availability. Subnets would be inside the building only, right? Now, go till here. This will become very ugly very soon. Start from the basics. We good? Start. You want a break or something? No. Good. 1A, 1B, 1C. I will only be talking about the database. Okay. I am putting my database inside a subnet. This I am calling it as subnet 1. On the right, I would also be writing whether the subnets should be a private subnet or a public. SN1 is a database. It should be private or public? Private. Go till here. Fine. Now the problem. This subnet has an instance 1 or database instance 1. DB1. Go till here. Fine. What did I say about high availability? What is the meaning of high availability?
from wherever we can access.
Correct. High availability, like in the institute, if only I am the person, then it is not a highly available. If tomorrow I say I am not coming, what will you do? There should be a backup person also. No? So similarly over here, instead of just having one instance of database, I would be having 2 instances of database. What do you want to? Do you want to add the second here itself, DB2? Yes. Good. I have 2 instances. But the problem, if this 1A goes down, everything is wrong, right? I don't want that. So what will I do? Let's replace it. SN1, yes. DB1. This, I create a new subnet inside 1B. Okay. This I call it as SN2. And I call it as SN2 should be private or public?
Sorry.
Database, right? Anyhow, private. Go till here. Fine. This is inside AP South 1. AP South 1, if AP South 1 itself goes down, you will be no problem. I have it in 1A or 1B, both go down. Now what's the issue? 1C also I can put, right? Fine. That. SN3. Here is DB3. Right. Okay. Good till here, fine. Is it a highly available one? Yes. Problem. There is an issue inside AP South 1. Mumbai, big issue, electricity issue in complete India. No power connection. 1A, 1B, 1C, everything has gone down. Now the problem, how will you resolve it? Another region. Let's do that. By the way, this DB1 will have IP address 1, right? DB2 will have IP address 2, IP address 3. How will they talk to each other? Via IP address, which IP address? Private or public? Private or public? Correct. But public we can't. Your answer is correct. We can do that, but database should never be public. So database only private. So how will these three talk to each other? Private. Private. Good. Now same thing which is in AP South 1, I will go and choose another region. Which one will you choose? Singapore or Middle East? Middle East. Why? Near. Good. Did I talk about anything else? In this class I have it, no?
No, sir, we'll go for
Answer is correct. Singapore only, but in this class I haven't told. Your answer is correct. I will tell you that also why he said Singapore. There is a logical reason behind it. I remember in the last class I ended it over there. Southeast one. The answer is Singapore. Okay. Now inside Singapore also I will have a VPC 1A, 1B, 1C. This becomes SN4. This becomes DB4. Good till here? Fine. SN4 will be private or public? Good. Private. SN4 or sorry, this DB4 has to communicate with DB123. How will it do? Over the private IPs. But how will it communicate over the private IP?
IP address.
Private IP. Okay, let's understand this concept. Why do I say it is not possible? Your machine right now is over here, right? What is the IP address? 192.168.1.6. I am right now at my home. Okay, inside my home, I am connected to my network. I want to communicate with you. How will I do?
First you need to connect to public IP.
And then the private IP. So first via internet, I have to connect to this router. Then from this router to your machine. But database cannot happen via the public IP. Means I should not. It means it has to be private only. How will I communicate? Your answer, what he said, VPN at that point of time. That is the correct answer. But VPN also is over the internet. Internet is one. So what will I do? Problem you understood first of all. Here I would be introducing two concepts: Vpc peering and a transit gateway. The thing that I told you I will end at. Okay. First, pay attention. These three machines have to communicate with this machine. Can it happen over the internet? It can happen, but I will never do it. This is a trick question in the interviews. They will ask you, can it happen over public? Can it happen over public? Your answer will be no. Even if you know it can happen, you will say no. You will say, why will database be over public? It is not available. I should never do it. I will not do it. Even if you ask me to do it, I will not do it. It cannot be public. Okay. Anyways, DB123 has to communicate with DB4. Now, if I at my home have to connect with your machine, what will I do? I cannot. But there is an easy way. I put a LAN cable in this router, take it all the way to my home, and then I plug it inside my laptop. Now can I do it? Over the private IP? Yes, because I am part of the same one. Or if somehow you can make a connection of these two networks, how can you do that? Internet, but internet is out of picture. I cannot do that. So what will I do? I will go and take help of an external thing. AWS, you somehow go and connect this VPC with this VPC via your own hardware. Something like a direct connect. The only thing is, I don't have to go to Airtel. I will go to AWS. You connect network 1 to network 2. This concept is known as VPC peering. Good till here. VPC peering. What is peering? One network is connected to other network over private IPs. Private IPs are important. Good till here. Fine. Now comes the problem. Mumbai goes down. Singapore goes down. Now what will happen? One more region. No worries. Region is in USA. USA will connect. USA will have DB5. How will DB5 make a connection with this? VPC peering. Fine. This VPC peering. Let's call it as peering 1. Let's call it as peering 2. This is my, let's say, USA. Now problem. Please pay attention. This is peering 1. This is peering 2. So USA DB5 over here. DB5 can make a connection with DB4 over peering. DB5 has to make a connection with DB1. How will it do? It cannot do via existing peering. Peering is 1-to-1. This will have to go and create a new peering. Yes. So how many peering are required? 3 peerings. Problem? Understood the problem? Peering 3. That is how it will connect. Now you have to introduce one more region, region 4 in Europe. How many peering you have to do? 4 peering separate. Is this a problem? Yes. This problem I can use means multiple peering you will have to do. No. Okay. This thing is known as a transitive enclosure. A is a friend of B. B is a friend of C. Is A a friend of C? If it is transitive. If it is not, it is not transitive. A is peer to B. This they will ask you. Especially fresher or less than 4 to 5 year experience for sure. A is connected to B. B is connected to C. A is paired with B. B is paired with C. Is A paired with C? And your answer should exactly be because it is not transitive. Use the word transitive. Anyways, I understand. Peering, peering, peering. Problem? Yes. This actually what happens now in real time. This you will never know until a region goes down. If a region goes down, then you will say, it's not working on you. Then you will go to peering, then you will realize, right? How to fix it? This was a big problem until 2020. Then AWS introduced, first of all, peering is understood, right? AWS introduced a very smart concept, something known as a transit gateway. What is a transit gateway? Just go and put a transit gateway over here. 1, 1, 1. Transitive enclosure. Remember A, B, C, it is not transitive. Transit gateway is you just go and connect with this, it will automatically connect with everything. Tomorrow, if you have 2 other regions, connection. Tomorrow, if you have your own data centers,
Data will go 3 systems.
yes, anywhere it can go, wherever the transitive gateway is attached. That's the property of transit. Okay, you have your own data centers. No need for VPN. Your data center 1, your data center 2. You have connected via direct connect in UAE. Direct connect 1, direct connect. 6 regions, 2 direct connect, VPN, peering, whatever you want to do, just attach to this transit gateway. They will ask you for sure how is your network actually connected. You will say earlier it was via VPC peering. Now we have replaced everything with a transit. If you are giving the interviews, we use this term a lot. Got it? Star, you understood what he said?
Yes.
Everything is connected to it. But the problem with the star network is if transit gateway goes down, then everything is down. But transit gateway will not go down by transit gateway itself is an AWS managed service. You don't do any more. Following it in here, let's complicate it now.
Gateway means like device only or?
Okay. Gateway actually means a hardware device, yes. But in AWS terms, everything is via a software. Okay, good till here until you go for a direct connect. Remember, I told hardware and software, then I introduced DC. Airtel will actually take a wire from your house. Only that is hardware. Only local zone is hardware. Rest everything is software. Following it here, let's complicate it. This is for my database. Next, I would need my backend servers also. Or I will need a website also. Website, how many people will use? Many people. One machine will do for me. No, right? Multiple machines. Subnet 10 has machine 1 machine. Subnet 11 has 2 machines. Subnet 12 has 2 machines. Right? SN10, SN11, SN12 will be public or private? Sure. Website will be public or private? Website. Website is public, right? Public. All of these 3 things will be public. You understand? Inside Mumbai itself, inside one VPC, 3 subnets are private, 3 subnets are public. Good till here. Similarly, you will create over here. Similarly, you will create over. Everything via transit gateways. Good till here. Next up, I have my backend servers. Backend servers will again have multiple machines, even more machines. Backend servers will be what? Public or private? Public or private. Generally, whenever you say both, it generally means it is public. Okay, private cannot be public, but a public can be private. Okay, so these will also be public in nature, and this is how your whole infrastructure is. In reality, I have skipped making a connection, but in reality, you will go into this. Are you following it here? It's complicated to one more level. Right. This whole thing, I will draw it as it is. That will take hardly half an hour. Concept you have to understand. Good till here? Fine. Now comes the next part. These machines that I have, backend machines over here. Machine. Whatever I have over here. Now, this machine I say is a private machine. This machine I say is a public machine. This is a private machine. How will I define if it is a public or a private?
Public you can access anyone, private you can access only particular selected persons.
Or public anyone can do, private only if you are inside the network. Okay, good till here? Fine. Next concept. When I say this is a public subnet, how does it become a public subnet? Who is saying it becomes a public?
Which can access anyone.
It can be connected to internet. How will someone connect to the internet? How are you connecting to the internet right now? Sitting over here. SIM or router. These routers are known as gateways. Okay. If this has to connect, it simply needs something known as a internet gateway. Got it here? And it needs something as a Aggress internet. Internet gateway and Aggress gateway. Very easy. Internet gateway is for IPv4. Aggress is for IPv6. Okay. But these two are the gateways. Now what you have to do is, this subnet would be connected to gateways. So it becomes a public subnet. This subnet is not connected to gateways. So it becomes a private subnet. Actually, it is like this. This is not connected, so it becomes a private. These two are connected, so it becomes public. This would also be like this. Whatever is connected to the gateways will become a public. Whatever is not connected will become a private. But then if my backend has to interact with my database, how will it do? If it is not connected to the gateway. The question you understood. Database is connected to the gateway? Yes. Sure. Gateway is what? Internet gateway. Database needs internet? No. So database will be connected to the gateways? No. Backend needs internet? Yes. Backend will connect to the gateways? Yes. Backend is connected to the gateway. Database is not connected to the gateway. So how will backend interact with my database then? This was question number 1 that I had asked. How will your machine connect with her machine? Over what IP? Private IP, right? You are database. You are not connected to the internet. you are backend, you are connected to the internet. Still the question, how will you connect with this machine? Over private IPs. And how can you connect over private IPs? Because you are part of SIM. Alright, that is where you will start to get connections. Just remember one thing. Anything inside the VPC will be private. Anything outside the VPC will be public. Okay, again, let's take it this way. Front end will be connected to my gateways. Front end needs to be public or private?
Public.
Good. Back end needs to be public or private? Both. Let's say public. Okay. Front end will be connected to the gateways.
Yeah.
It is internet. Front end has to connect to internet. If it has internet, it has to connect to gateways. Front end is connected to gateways. Back end needs internet. Yes. So will it connect to gateways? Yes. It is also connected. Now comes the question. Front end has to interact with back end. How will it do? Over what IPs? Private or public? Private. Why not public? Both are connected to the
Inside, no.
So can't I do it over the public one? Let's take an example. I am connected to Zoom. You are connected to Zoom. When you are connected to Zoom, are you connected with my machine over the private IP?
Public.
Over the public IP. It means inside the same network itself, you can connect both with the public IP and the private IP. If you both are connected to it. Understood? This is confused. Let's go back again. Database is private. Backend is public. How will it connect? Private. There I don't have option. Backend is public. Front end is public. How will it connect? Private IP. Private IP to anyhow I can do. I know. Can it connect over the public IP? Yes, because the gateways are. Got it. If I had asked you this question, database with anyone, your answer would only be backend. If the same thing I replace with backend and front end, your answer will be anyways, either public or private. Got it? That is your gateway concept. Got it there? Let's take a break of 2 minutes. Okay. Now, honestly, the last one. We good to start? It's fine. You see, the problem is when I created these connections over here, no, they were technically incorrect. You will never make a connection with the internet gateway directly. Rather, what you will do is this way it will not happen. What happens is you actually go and create something small known as a route. Route table is the most important thing for you in today's class. If there is any mistake inside your network, for sure it would be inside the route table. Okay, let's go and redo it again. I said you were connected to gateway. No, gateway would be connected to internet gateway and Aggress. Okay, now if you have to be connected to, okay, this is route table 1. There is another route table 2, which is not connected to it. When you say I am a private subnet, your will be connected to this route table 2, which is private. When you say I am a public subnet, you will be connected to this route table and you will be connected to this route. And this route table internally is connected to these two gateways. Got it? Your gateways are never interconnected with them. Gateways are interconnected only with route tables, and your subnets are interconnected with your. Now, this subnet would be connected to one route table, which is not connected to anything. Got it? That is why it becomes a private subnet. When now, if you have to say what is the difference between a public subnet and a private subnet. Private subnet cannot connect to internet, public subnet can connect to internet. This is the correct answer, yes. But what I'm expecting from you is private subnet is a subnet which is connected to a route table, which is not connected to it. A public subnet is a subnet which is connected to a route table, which is connected to internet gateway and service. This is the technical answer. Got it? So if you are unable to ping this machine over here, this is a public subnet, right? If it is a public subnet, I should be able to connect to it, right? If I am unable to connect to it, what is the reason? Reason is it would be connected to a route table, and route table would not be connected to internet. So what happens is you try to ping a machine, you are somewhere over here. You try to ping this machine, you are able to hit the gateway. Anything is connected to the gateway? No. So can you ping this machine? No. How will you fix it? You will simply go attach your route table to internet. Now, how the connectivity works? You connected to VPC 1, VPC connected to internet gateway 2, internet gateway connected to route table 3, route table 3 connected to subnet 4, subnet connected to instance 5. This in AWS, if you are giving, they will ask you the how are you connected? You will never say from my machine I am connected to that. Technically it is correct, but it is following all these steps. And how will you not connect to it? Break any one of them. Either you break this. You see, this is connected to this, right? Either you break this, I would be unable to connect, or you break this, I would be unable to connect, or you break this, I would be unable to connect. Okay, so the concept is to make a network as a private network. No, it is very easy. Do a mistake in any one of them, it becomes a private network. To make this instance as a public subnet or a public network or a public machine is difficult. First, create gateways. Second, create a route table. Third, connect route table to the gateways. Fourth, connect route table to the instances. Fifth, you make a connection, then it becomes the public subnet. Fail or don't do any one of them, it becomes a private. Got it? When the question will be asked to you in the interviews, please give this answer. How do you make a public subnet as a private subnet? You will simply say, see, honestly, making a public subnet is difficult. First, connectivity. Second, gateways. Third, route table. Fourth, this. Fifth, this. Then it becomes a public subnet. Go and don't do any one of them, or one or two or three. Don't do any one, break any one of the things. It goes and becomes a private subnet. Like I say, to make anything inside the cloud as a private is easy. Private because AWS wants to keep it private. To make something as a public is, I will showcase this live to you right. Okay, and then you will understand it. Put in here? Yes? Fine. So we start with the live things now. This concept is understood. Like I said, okay, by the way, this whole thing should be replicated here. This whole thing should be replicated here. That is why it becomes so difficult. Fine, let's start. No problem. Okay, while it is turning on, while actually it is turning on, just tell me this. If I give something like voice coming and recording also. Okay, 10,000/24 means how many machines are there? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 24, 2 raised to the power of 8, which is 256. If I make it 23, how many machines? Something, right? 22 something, right? What if I make it 0000/0? What does this mean? How many machines are there? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 0. How many machines? I also don't know. It is a very big one. But actually it means starting address is 0000 and the end address is 255.255.255. It means all the possible machines inside my network. Okay, in the world, how many machines are there? No, if you say I want to make it a public subnet, anyone in the world can access. You will always see something like this: 0000/0. Got it? Last thing. What was the IP address you told? IPv4 address of this place right now? What is it? Public. Thank you. Again.
171, 76, 87, 208.
Okay. Tell me if you understand this. If I want to represent this as a CIDR block and I only want to allow this IP address, what will I say? /32. /32 means how many machines are there inside the network? 2 raised to the power of 32 minus 32. 2 raised to the power of 0, which is 1. Starting IP address is this, and IP address will be this itself. Got it? If I want to say my IP address, I will say /32. If my client comes to me and says, please open my network, this is a generic statement. Please open my network. You will say, what is your IP address? They will give you IP address, something like 10, 10, 10, 11. What you will do? Simply go and enable 10, 10, 10, 11/32. This 32 is important. Good till here? Fine. Let's start with the VPC and network. Now you will see how easy it is. Visible?
Not that hero, just not bad.
Please, we may just do it. I don't understand. You want to bring it this side?
But it's shaking still.
Shaking happens, I don't know why. I am not shaking, see. Something is happening.
But flat is.
Clarity is okay?
Yes.
Fine. This side, you keep it first, whatever. I don't think everyone is. Whosoever has a problem, please come over here and fix it. Who all are having interview this week? You, two, and do it. How many? 1, 2, 3. Alok, I know is 1, 4, and you should be 5th, but you are not there. Then Amritanshu is there, 5. You are also there, no? Interview. Do it. How many? 5, right? We should be targeting 3 out of you at least should be getting it this week. Plan it like shit, okay? Plan it like anything basically. Step 1, VPC. VPC I will create of how much? What do you want? CIDR block range / how much? 24. 24 is how much? 256, right? Your VPC. Now, one thing before I start over there, generally people what they do is no, when you go to dashboard over here or your VPC is went off. When you click on create VPC, no, they will give you this option. So honestly, I didn't have to tell you all those things. Create a public or a private. You see how many AZs you want, public subnets you want, private you want. Now everything is on the user interface itself. Just click, 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 and it will happen. But once I go to Terraform, no, like have a look over here. Terraform VPC. This. Terraform, you will simply have to go and give this script as it is. What it is, 10.0.0/16. 16 means how many machines? 65,536. Below you go down and you will go for subnets, obviously. Terraform subnet inside VPC. You will just go and say VPC is 10.0.10.24. 24 is how much? 256, right? Okay. Subnet. Subnet is created from VPC and subnet is having how much? 256. There you won't have option of click, click, click over here. So concept you have to understand. That's the problem. That is why we started from. Anyways, going back. VPC is create VPC. I will create a VPC by the name of VPC1. Okay. What is my block size? 10.0.0/24. Good till here. I want IPv6 block. If you want, you can give. Don't want it, don't give. Next is tenancy, default and dedicated. Very easy. Default is slow. Dedicated is fast. Default is default network. Dedicated is your actual network, actual infra. Okay. I am going for default. Tags, if you want, you add. Don't want, you don't add. Something like add created by, I am giving Ankit over here. Maybe I want to give something as region.
This IP, who did you, I mean, company?
No, I will give, generally the client will give you the IP range, cider block range. You can put it 10, you can put it 100, you can put whatever you want.
What we should do?
Here. Now, when they come to you and they ask you that you have to create the infra, you will say how many machines you need. If they say 1,000 machines, what is the cider block? If you make it 24, 24 is how much? 256 will not work. 23 is how much? 252 will not work. 22 is how much? 1024. So what will be your size? 22. If they said 10,000 machines, 20 is how much? 4096. 19 is 8192. 18 is 16384. What is your size? 18 or 17 or 16. Got it? So what will this be? You don't have to worry. Company will come to you and then the client will tell you. They will ask you or you will ask them. They will say, go and create a VPC. What VPC? What region? Whether it is default or dedicated. That is why when the client will come to you, you will give a counter email to them. Please go and fill these things. Where do you want? What is the block size? Don't understand block size? Fine. Tell me how many machines you think maximum will be required. Fine. If they say 10,000, 18.
They will provide like document or
Email or verbal communication. Verbal communication. If they come to you, create a VPC very easy. If you go and create whatever you want, right? Because you will say you wanted me to create VPC. I have created a VPC requirement. Correct. So that is why you have to ask them the counter question. Next, if they create a VPC, you will say how many sub networks you want. You will say I don't know. You will say fine. You tell me, do you have a backend? Yes. Do you want it across all the 3 availability zones? What is the availability zone? Then you tell them if one goes down, other 2 are up. You tell me how many you need. They will say, I think I need. Okay, database you will create how many availability zones? 1 instance or 2 instance? They will say advantage. You will say advantage is 1A goes down, 1B is up. Disadvantage, now you are paying for 2 instances. You tell me you want to pay for 2 instances or 1 instance. They will say 1. I will say fine. 1 has 3 options, 1A, 1B, 1C. Which one do you want? They will say, I don't know. You will say, fine, I will choose myself. Choose anything. If they say budget is not a problem, high availability is, you will say, fine, I will put it in all the 3 instances. Got it? You will ask them the question. They will just say with yes or a no.
based on the money, they will provide.
Correct, correct. Generally, the client will always be about money. So you will put it in less availabilities also. Okay. And the best answer is, or the worst answer for you is both. I want high availability also. I don't have money also. In that case, now you have to think. You will say, fine, I should have gone for 3 availability zones. I will go for 2. So you are not paying for 3, but you are still getting high availability. Got it? That is the worst answer. Client will always give you this answer. Can you give me both the options? 3 also, 1 also. You will say that I can't do. Middle ground, 2 subnets I can give you. Okay. Then they will say. Security, though, if it is inside AWS, it is secured only, honestly, right? You don't have to put much premium.
We are taking AWS for backup only, like, I mean, network, all those things they will take away AWS. So network will not down. So why you need to take another
Region good, because there is a problem. Let's see.
See, I know, but because of power and.
Correct, correct. Let's see. You see this bell icon over here, right? Over here, this bell icon. Look over there. Let's see if there is an open issue right now. Because AWS, okay, any issue are there? No, fine. 0 issues, fine. Let's remove this, fine. And now see.
No, my client I'm asking. So I'm taking AWS not only, so I'm not looking whether, how, I'm not looking. You need to know my data.
Correct, correct. So that is why you will say, but still you will say, so that is why you will go and open this event log. And you will say, CV, from my experience, no, these are the errors that happened. In North Virginia, Elastic starting. Bill.
What is the data in number?
I don't remember. 14, maybe with your bill. I don't remember.
This and before this. December 14.
Is it? I never saw any issue. EC to Cape Town was down. Cape Town, it is saying. Cape Town region, Cape Town, Africa, so I don't work. No idea about that. Africa and South America, I never work. So no idea about that, but you are correct. You are correct because it says 61 services were down from 4 AM to 6:54. That is bad. Like you say, for 3 hours, entire South Africa region was down. That is a bad thing because anyone in Africa would be routing to South Africa, and South Africa, all these 61 services were down. So how will they do? Backup region. If the client is in South Africa, then you will say, no, for you, so I will say, please go and take a backup region initially for 2 months. After that, if you don't want, we can remove. Okay, based on budget, whatever. Okay, this thing is good. Thank you. Please, all of you pay attention. 3 hours, 4:31 PM to 7:27 PM. If you want to make a story, please make a story. Easiest option is to say Airtel or Vodafone. They are using in Africa, they are always there. Okay. Say that I was having a client in South Africa, for South Africa, Kenya, Namibia, whatever you say. 3 hours from I was about to leave office. Now start creating a story. 4:31 PM. I was having a good day. I was about to leave the office when suddenly I got a message. AWS is down. I opened my machine and I saw that 4:31 PM. Yes, it was down. It was a bad day for me because it was September 14th is what day? If you have to make a story, you have to make the complete story, no? Wednesday. Correct, Wednesday. Good. Create the story basically that Wednesday it was a good day for me, but then September 14th I was about to shut down my machine when for 3 hours suddenly things went down. We could only resume work from 7:30 PM. What did you do? What can I do? If AWS Africa is down, what will I do? I won't fly to Africa and fix the issues, right? I just sat over here, cried for 3 hours. Things started to work. And then what did you do in this case? Your answer is nothing. What can I do? But what can you do to prevent it? Yesterday she told no star method, right? What is the resolution? Resolution is not I was sitting over there thinking what will I do? Resolution is now I told my client that instead of Africa, let's have a backup region in Ireland. Now as we speak, we are in the process of doing that. Yes, here I see complete region itself is down because no, you say it gives you two options, region and availability zone. Availability zone, it is not saying only, it is saying complete region went down with IAM authentication. So it is bad actually. Fine. Okay, let's go back to our VPC now. Okay, let's start VPC 24, right? I am keeping it as VPC-1 10.0.0.0/24. I need IPv6. Name is VPC1 and create VPC. We got till here. 24 means how many machines are there? 256. Or how many IP addresses are there? Machine are not there. IP address is 256. Let's go to subnets. First subnet inside this VPC, right? Subnet 1, I am naming it as SN1, putting it in 1A. I need IPv6. Subnet IPv6, if you want to give it. Don't want to give, don't give, doesn't matter. Over here, the important thing is the block size. Block size, what do we give? How much? 26. 26 means how many machines? Good, good. 64, right? 64 machines, fine. Do you want to create another subnet? Yes. What is that? SN2. I am putting it in 1B. What I want? 10.0.0. This will start at 64, right? 64/26. Fine. Next subnet. Click on add new subnet. This one I am naming it as SN3. This I am putting it in 1C. This one would be how much? Good. 128/26. Do you want another? SN4, done. SN4, you see this one over here was 1A. First, second is 1B, third is 1C, fourth I am not giving anything. It doesn't mean it will not put, it will say I will automatically decide where to put. Okay, it will put in any one of the place, 1A, 1B or 1C. This one would be, this one was 128. This one will be 192 and 26. Okay, so how do I know 26 is table of what? 64, right? 64 into 0 is 0, multiplied by 1 is 64, multiplied by 2 is 128, multiplied by 3 is 192. If stories are good, create subnet. It is giving error. What is the error? Force reload the page. Let's do it again. Inside VPC 1, SN1, 10.00/26. SN2. In my experience, the error would be force reload the page. It will run. Can be anything actually. Doesn't. It's how do I know? It will start prompting you over there in red, whatever that error is there. That way you can go and fix it. Whatever the error is there. Now, the only problem is we don't use the console much. I would have gone and created a script in Terraform as it is. It would have been easier. Anyways, I clicked on force. I did the same thing only. Like I said, I have seen this a lot. The reason is you see this new VPC experience. Whenever a new thing comes up, no, you will have to force reload the page and things start to work. Now coming to your question, you had a question. VPC 1 is there, fine. Subnets are there. How many are there? 4. SN 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the question. 26 means how many machines? 64. It means how many IP addresses should be visible? 64. How many IP addresses are visible? 59. You had a question. Why is it 59? I didn't answer it then. Let me answer it now. The reason is 5 IP addresses are reserved by AWS. If you want to know why, that is known as broadcast address, multicast address. In short, whenever you create a network, okay, let me give you an example. This router always, if you are opening up, what is the IP address right now of my machine? 192.168.1.7. Okay. If I go and open 192.168.1.1, what will open up? Router will open up actually. This is the router. I believe password should be this and this. Password is that. So if I go over here, it will show me obviously all the devices which are connected to this machine at the moment. All of these, whatever client status are there, it will tell me all the machines which are connected. Okay. Which means router always took 192.168.1.1. Why did router take 1.1? Gateway. So why is gateway taking 1? Why is it not taking 2? Why is it not taking 0? This answer is correct. Gateway. This answer is known as a multicast address. Go and read about it if you want to. Multicast address. Then there is a broadcast address, and there are more like this: broadcast address, multicast address, and so on. Okay. 0th address, these addresses 255, starting 2 addresses and last 3 addresses are taken by AWS themselves. In short, if you want to know, it's very easy. If I am a subnet, if I am, let's say, subnet 1, subnet 2, subnet 3, subnet 2 has to communicate with subnet 1, and any communication will happen over the IP address. How many IP addresses gone? 1, 1. How many gone? 2. If anything happens with this IP address, what am I left with? 1 backup, 1 backup. How many gone? 4. Me as a subnet, I have to talk with VPC also, right? How many? 5. How many? 5. That is the easy way to look at it. But the real answer is multicast and broadcast. But if you go
to multicast and broadcast, it would be this only. Subnets actually communicating with each other. Got it? How many addresses are there? 59 over here. We good till here? Okay. 4 subnets created. Good. This subnets, instead of creating it like this, let me call it as private 1, private 2, public 1 and public 2. Following me till here? Good. If I have to connect with the internet, what I need to do? Internet gateway, right? I will go to internet gateway, create an internet gateway, give it a name, create. And internet gateway creation is not enough. I will have to go and attach it to my network. Actions attached to VPC. Which VPC? My VPC and attach. Got it? So my network VPC is now connected to internet gateway, which is this. This is for IPv4. Similarly, I will have to do for IPv6. That is known as Aggress. Go here, create, name it, select your VPC and create. Done. That's it. Your VPC created, 4 subnets created, internet gateway created, Aggress gateway created. Now, these 4 subnets are private or public as of now? Why? As of now, as of this moment, I named it private. I can name everything public. I can name everything private. What is easier to do, private or public? So by default, it is private only, because I have not created the route table part. I have missed it, no? So as of now, it is private. Okay. If I go and put it to a public, it will happen. Let me give you a proof of it then. Let me go and create a machine. We obviously need proof, right? Let me go and create a machine with the old console. Let's start. Ubuntu machine, I am taking a normal machine. Inside my VPC, this one, I am putting it inside, let's say private, inside public one only, okay? And I am saying, give me a IP address. Storage tags, this. I also want to go and do a ping. For ping, I will need ICMP. This someone had asked, I don't know which company, but someone had asked this US they had asked. ICMP they asked. They said, I am unable to ping. What is the reason? Gave everything. Security group, NACL, Aggress, route table, instances, everything he gave. Said, nah, this is working. Last, he was expecting the answer as ICMP port. Anyways, I am doing a ping test on this. Short thing is, I am just going and doing a ping on this machine. It should reply back, no? What is it saying right now? Timeout. If my stories are good, then in some time after I go and gateways are there. If I just go and create a route table, attach the route table to the instance, no, attach the route table to the subnet, then it should not say timeout. Okay, let's do a proof of it. What I will do, I will simply go and create a route table. Okay, how? Route tables. Create a route table. I am calling it as public route table. Okay, VPC done. Now route table has to be associated with the specific subnet. First thing, what will I do? I will go to subnet, edit, and I will go and give public 1 and public 2 and save. It should work? No. If it should work, it should not say timeout. It is still saying timeout. No. So as of now, what I have done is I have just done this part. Route table with this I have done. Got it? Route table to internet gateway I have done. That what I will have to do. Like I said, don't do any one thing, it will become private only. Let's see. How will you attach it to your internet gateways? You see this subnet associations over here. Let's go to route table. Public route table. Routes, you see, it is only connected to the local one right now. Is it connected to gateways? No. Edit route, add, attach it to internet gateway. And who can connect? Anyone in the world, right? Save changes, go back. Do you see it starts to respond back? You see a time, do you see timeout now? No, right? You start to get a response. So how to make it as a private? Do any one mistake. For example, either you go and remove the subnets. Save, again it will start to timeout. Either you remove the subnets, it becomes private. So let's go and add the subnets back again. Public 1 and public 2, save. It again becomes a public subnet, right? Or you simply go and remove the route table entries from the internet gateways. How? This edit route, remove, save changes, again it will start to timeout. Got it? Like I said, creating a private is easy. For creating a public one, you have to do many things. Okay, that is the proof, by the way, that yes, route tables and whatever stories I told you are all valid. Anyways, let's go to route, edit route, add which gateway? Internet gateway. And who can connect? This. Now you say, no, only I want to connect. Only Ankit wants to connect. What will Ankit do? Ankit will simply go and type his IP address over here. My IP address. Only Ankit wants to connect. He will simply go to route and he will say that, see, internet gateway, no, not anyone, but /32. Now, any one of us in this room right now want to connect. Our ping test will still work. But anyone who is right now on the call, who is not connected to this network, if they try to do a ping test on this, it will fail. Got it? That is the proof. How do I prove that to you? Okay, I can prove it. Give me. This part, obviously, I'm bit complicated, right? But once you view the recording, it should all make sense. The thing is, like I said, in one day only I have to complete VPC. And why I have to complete? Because you don't have much time also. Anyhow, by November, your offices are opening up. So in another 45 days, you have to start working from office. As much support you take, offline support, job support, whatever you take in this world. After 45 days, so you have to go to office only after Deepavali. Deepavali, unfortunately, is in October end. Even bad. After Deepavali, offices are beginning November 1st. TCS has started, Wipro anyhow has started. Everyone has to work from office. 30 plus 12 days, 42 days, you have to understand the concepts. Got it? The earlier we do iteration 2, you will do it again. It will come up to your mind. Got it? If what I am telling, this is very complex. This is because I work in a startup, so we do it at that level. Office level, you don't have to do this much. If you understand 20 to 30% of this also, no, it will do. Last thing, just keep in your mind that good thing that you told, this job support is not going to cut it for you, because November on office you have to go. There, they won't ask you to do a work and come tomorrow morning and do it. They will say, do it now in front of me. I need it in another 2.5 hours. There you can't call them, hello sir, please have a look at my this. That is your office laptop. Okay, please help me out. They are tick, 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 you have to do. Or by evening, your HR will call you. So again, like I was saying outside, magically from January end, you will start to see AWS jobs will be in market like anything. Okay, anything. I am sure 80 to 95% of the population who are hired right now in this year will be out. People would have understood what is the reality. They would be out by then. Again, you will start to see jobs like anything starting January. Every company will say, please join in AWS, please join in AWS, because whosoever was hired, by that respect also, they will go out. Okay, fine. So please understand the concept. It is good. Anyways, VPC is done. Subnets done. Route tables you understand. Internet gateway and Aggress gateway. Good till here? Fine. Next concept. Okay, this concept you understood, right? All of these things, whatever we have over here. Just a minute. Okay. So I have my Aggress gateway, I have my internet gateway, route table, VPCs and subnets. We good till here? Perfect. Next up, all these concepts. Now, first of all, first concept over here, I did something as a peering connection, right? What is the peering connection? One network to next network, right? Let's see how. Click on create peering connection, give it a name. Let's say peering -1. If this is understood, no, honestly, this is what you will do in office at max. At max. Peering you don't have to do, but it's still good to know. I have to peer it with another region. Any one of you has opened up AWS right now, or you have it? Have it? Please open up. I will do a cross account peering. Peering with my account in my region is easy. Peering in my account with my different region is also easy. Peering with my account with a different account in a different region, that is tricky. Let's see how. But it is actually easy how. I will just give her account ID. Ma'am, I will need your VPC region in what do we want? North Virginia. Fine. Just open up your AWS account. I will need two things: account ID and your North Virginia VPC ID. VPC ID will always start with VPC hyphen something. Your account ID is, click on the name on the top, you will see a 12-digit ID, right? What is it? Hmm? Hmm? Okay. What is the VPC ID? Go to your VPCs and tell me the VPC ID. For others, what is the VPC ID? Multiple places. Go to instance. Instance anyhow would be inside a VPC. You will find it over here now. Let's go to the new console. It is easier that way. Over here, no, inside networking, you will find. This is the VPC ID. Okay. What is it? VPC hyphen? Your account is active. What is it? What is it? First VPC ID.
VPC hyphen OE 393A 522 104
Account ID.
46441955
Okay, if everything is good, I will click on create peering connection. You now will have to go to your peering connection. On the left, peering connection, you will start to see a peering request, right? You will select there, click over there, click there and click on actions and click on accept request. See that? Good, click there. Done, perfect. If I do that, if I refresh it now, it should say active. Should say. It says active. Got it? Is this it? No. One more thing is required. Yes. But here, route table 3. Route table 3 would be connected to whatever subnets I want. Route table 3 would be connected to a peering connection. This route table 3, I have to do the entry for this account. Got it? The most important thing for us was route table. So what I have to do is now, and both of us have to do, by the way. I will go to my route tables. I will go to my here route table, create route table, peering hyphen route table. I will select the VPC, create next. I will go to my subnet and whatever subnets I want to add, private, public, whatever I want, edit over here, private 1, private 2. This next route tables, peering route table, click on routes, edit routes, add, what will I add? Peering connection. This connection, right? And this peering connection with whom? His IP address, right? What is your IP address of VPC? 172.31.00.16, right? 172.31.00/16. Got it? Save changes. Same thing he has to do. What is my VPC range? 10.00.24. Again, if I do a mistake or if he does a mistake, peering will not work. Last time, making peering difficult, or if you have to say that I should ensure peering does not work, you should do any one mistake. It will not work. To make it to work, first peering accept route table, my peering connection with his IP address, his route table, with my peering connection with my CIDR block. Next, my route table with my subnet, his route table with his subnet. Only after that, my subnet and his subnet can communicate, not entire VPC, remember. Only the subnets in that route table will work. Failure to do any of these things will make the peering not work. Got it?
Everything remains same, only subnets will.
Correct. And anyhow, see, even if you do a mistake with the subnets over here, let's say you say that, okay, I forgot that. Fine, go to your route tables. This route table. You forgot to add the subnets. Fine, go and add the subnets later. It is not, you can go and add all the 4 subnets also. Done. No problem. Add as many subnets as you want. Got it? That is how you go and do the peering connection. We could till here? Fine. Okay. We continue. Yes, good. Next thing, endpoints. What is an endpoint? Very interesting, and people will ask this a lot to you. Now, I am inside my private subnet at the moment. Okay, private subnet is not connected to the internet. Got till here? Fine. If I go and create a S3 bucket, S3 bucket is where? Internet. S3 bucket is where? On the internet or not? Right? Why? Because it has HTTPS. Now the concept is my backend servers are private. They have to connect with S3 bucket. S3 bucket is internet. So how will my private subnet connect with the something which is on the internet? What is the answer? That is second step of what I'm going to tell you. Step 1. You are correct, but that is second step. So if you give this answer in the interview, the good thing is they will say, fine, done. They will move to the next question. This is basically killing the interview. Means if they ask you something, no, do you know EC2? And you straight away start with NACL security group, EC2, I understand, IP addresses, right? You are talking, they will say, Achha, he knows too much. They won't ask you the question. But right now the thing is, I am inside a private subnet. Private subnet has to interact with S3 bucket. S3 bucket is over internet. How can I communicate? If you make your subnet as a public subnet, that is not the answer. Somehow my private subnet has to communicate with S3. The good thing is S3 over here is a AWS service itself, no? So if a AWS service has to communicate with another AWS service, which is either public or private, for that you have a special concept, something known as an endpoint. This concept. If you go and create an endpoint over here, like let's say VPC, I want to create an endpoint for S3, it will ask you for which service you want to create. I will say S3. I will say this, and I will attach it to my VPC. And I will, if you want, you can directly do it like this. It will automatically add to the route tables, or else you can also do it later. Just go and click on create endpoint and your endpoint is created. But this is one part of the story. Next part is what he said actually. This you have created a communication with S3. Do I have to create a communication with S3? No, I have to create with S3 bucket. That is specific bucket. Like he said, click over here, click on access point, click on create access point and attach it with your VPC. Which VPC? This VPC that you created some time back. Got it? And then block all public access means still my bucket is not connecting to public, but via my endpoint, my subnets and my VPC can make a connection with my S3 bucket. Again, if you do all of these things, then you can make a private connectivity with a service of AWS over the internet. And this is not only for S3, this is for many things. Endpoints can be used for multiple services. How many? 121 services of AWS. Got it? Endpoint. Means almost all, but it is not like that. Actually, if you see S3, no, S3 itself will come as 4 services now. Similarly, you go for DynamoDB basically. DynamoDB itself will, then go for DAX. DAX is not there. But if you go for DynamoDB, also used to have multiple services. One is DynamoDB at gateway. They have removed it, fine. Then only at gateway. Means there are services like you see this ECS one, ECS agent, ECS telemetry. EC2 itself, you see EC2 with EC2 messages. ECR you have two. So there are not 121 services. Honestly, there are some 40 to 50 services only. It's like that. But anyways, this is the concept of endpoint. My service of AWS has to interact with the service of AWS over internet. But then again, don't expose the data to internet, but still ensure that I can connect with that service. That concept is known as endpoint. Okay. This is one part of the story. Now, by the way, if you go to your route tables over here, this route table, routes over here, you see this VPC endpoint. This has automatically added to this destination of endpoint. That's your endpoint over here. Any of these machines can communicate. What are these IPs, by the way? S3 address, IP addresses. S3 itself is internet. If S3 is internet, S3 will have a public IP. Do you know the IP address of S3? No. AWS will know. That is why AWS says you don't apply your brain. If you go to your route tables over here, this route table, this route, this destination. See, this is my IP address, I know. This is my IP address, I know. This IP address, I don't know. No, that is S3. How do I know? So click over there. And if you want to see, you go to the entries and you will see all the IP address. Now, honestly, you don't have to know this much level. But if you know, there is no harm in that. If you are taking the interview, of a very senior person, ask them, how do you know the S3 IP addresses? They will say, I will do a ping. You will say S3 is a global service. How many pings will you do? In how many regions will you do? All 22. And then if they say yes, you say IP addresses will change also. How will you keep on changing? If they don't understand this concept of prefix list entries, basically the IP address, they can't answer it. You don't have an answer to this. This is the only thing. Anyways, we understand endpoints. What is the concept of endpoint? I have to communicate with AWS service, but I am not communicating with AWS service. I have my network inside AWS. I have my own service inside my own data center that I want to communicate over the private entries. How will I do? That concept is endpoint services. Got it? Endpoint services, like you see, it will not say AWS. It will say, you tell me your load balancer, whatever load balancer you have inside your own region, I will go and make a connection. Got it? That is your endpoint services. So this understood: VPC, subnet, route table, gateway, Aggress, managed prefix list, the IP addresses of S3, endpoint services, and peering connections. Good till here? Fine. Next comes up NAT gateways. Now, starting at this point of time, at any point of time, if you feel that it is too much, you can say we will end the class here. Whatever time you say, okay? Fine. Okay. We continue. Good. Endpoint now. Okay, not endpoint, NAT gateways. The concept of NAT gateways is easy. I am connected to a, okay, let's say I have installed a database. Okay, database is inside a subnet. Okay, database has MySQL. Fine. MySQL updates will come, right? Updates will come every week or every second week. How will you do the update? Good. How will you download from the internet? Okay, you know the answer, that is bad. Okay, but if you don't know the answer, then how will you download from the internet? You are inside a private subnet. Private subnet has a public IP. No, private subnet does not have a private subnet. No, it doesn't have a public IP. Means it is not connected to the internet. Something which is not connected to the internet, how will you download something from the internet on it?
Now that will be connected to a private network, and from private network it will be connected to public network.
But then it becomes a public network.
From private network it is connected to public.
But then it becomes a public network only, no? Correct. But then router becomes a public router. Router is a public router. Then that subnet becomes a public subnet. I remove it. Okay, NAT gateway, correct. So public router is not required here. What you mean is NAT gateway. That is the correct answer. Problem you understood, all of you. What is the problem? Problem is you are a private subnet. If you have to download something from the internet, you need internet connectivity. But you are private. How will you make a connection with internet? You cannot. So how do you make a connection? That answer is right now you are doing that. Your laptop is connected to the internet. No. Achha, your laptop directly is not connected. Via that router is connected. What is this concept known as? NATing. Okay. So short answer is you need to go and create a NAT gateway. So what you do, click on a NAT gateway, give a name, NAT-1, tell with which subnet you want to attach it. Whatever subnet, private 1, private 2. Remember, one NAT gateway, one subnet. Okay. Next, how do you want to make it private or a public? Now NAT, I'll tell. That is your next answer. If I make it public, I'm coming to that only, elastic IP. Okay, that is your answer. Now, if I make it private, if I make a NAT gateway as private, will I make a NAT gateway as private? There's no point only. If your network is private, it is private. Attach it to NAT gateway, which is private, what will it do? It will keep it private only. So ideally, you should not do that. But still, if you want to do it, there is an option. Now, important thing, NAT, you will say, becomes a public NAT gateway. Okay, that is your answer also now. NAT gateway, if I am connecting to my router has an IP address, right? What is the IP address? Public IP address. If something has a public IP address, it means somehow it is connected to the internet gateway, right? Your answer is, my subnet is connected to NAT. NAT has one public IP address, and this itself is connected to the internet gateway. Now your question is, 5 minutes back, you were saying the same thing only. You said that if I connect my subnet with a public gateway, then it becomes a public subnet only, right? And I said that is not the case. So how is this happening over here? My instance is connecting to NAT. NAT has a public IP. Public IP means internet gateway or Aggress gateway, then it is connecting somehow. So how is it working? NAT gateway has one difference from internet gateway, only one difference. That is, if from outside my network, or let's say my machine says I have to go and get an update from Oracle, update.oracle.com. It will go to update.oracle.com. Update.oracle.com will have an IP address, right? Let's say 11.11.11.11. So it goes to that. Packets will start to come back, right? Packets will start to come back. What is the IP address of the packet? My gateway. Which gateway? NAT gateway. Will ask what is your IP address. It will say 11.11.11.11. It will say coming soon. If it says what is your IP address, it says 11.11.11.12. Then it will say you are not allowed. This is like basically that, no, Alibaba, I believe. Alibaba said, no, khulja sim. So only if it says that code word or that IP address, I am 11.11.11.11, it will allow. If it doesn't say 11.11.11.11, then it will not allow. Got this? Now here comes an interesting concept. Okay. So basically now, if I am working on my NAT gateway, then it simply means that it will only allow things from that specific IP address. Go till here. If I allow only from that specific IP address, this is how I protect. This, by the way, is also how it is different from your internet gateway. But then you might argue, you say internet gateway is nothing, route table is the thing. What if I only go and give that IP address inside the route table? Remember route table, I give the IP address, my IP address, and that remote server IP address. In that case, NAT server will be equal to your internet gateway. Got it? If you understand this thing, then you have understood VPC. If not, almost there. And I'm pretty sure you have not understood, but that is fine. Now, anyways, NAT gateway itself has an IP address. What is the IP address? It will show up in some time over here inside the public IP address. You are adamant, no, I want to know now only what is it? Fine. Click on this Elastic Network Interface. ENI will go and give you a public IP address that will come up over here inside this public IP address once it is allocated. Now, if any of your machines inside your subnet goes to the outer world and they say, what is my IP address? It will give you this elastic IP address actually, which is present over here. The IP address would be 43.204.93.97. Got it? So any of those machines would connect to the outer world via 43.204.93.97. That is your NAT gateway. NAT gateway also, is it enough? No. One more thing is left. What is the most important thing inside VPC? I wrote it down. No? What is that in the end? Left. Correct. Just adding a NAT gateway is not enough. Go to your route tables. Whatever route table you have, public, private, whatever you have created, go to routes, edit routes, add routes, and then go and give that whatever NAT gateway you have created and give the IP address, which will make you to think, if I am giving IP address over here also, and I am giving IP address inside my NAT gateway also, what is the concept? You see NAT gateway, forget it. This much you understood. Okay, that is it. NAT gateway, got it? So what is the difference between NAT gateway and internet gateway? First thing is NAT gateway itself cannot do anything. NAT gateway needs elastic IP. If I need elastic IP is public IP. If I need public IP, it means I need a public gateway. If I have public gateway, then I have only two options, Aggress gateway and internet gateway. That's your answer. Got it? Also, second thing, please do not create an endpoint. Be sure not to create it. It is pretty expensive. Before you realize by the next class, it would have charged you like anything. My bill also would have gone up. I can do it. Okay, also NAT gateway, if not required, please don't do it. You saw it once, right? How it works with the elastic IP address, these things. Keep it at this much only. Do not practice. If in case you want to practice, remember to go and delete it at that moment itself. We good? Fine. That's NAT gateway and this. Are these things understood now? VPC, subnet, internet gateway, Aggress gateway, DSCP option set is what? That IP address of S3, DynamoDB. Elastic IP is what? NAT gateway needs a public IP, elastic IP. Managed prefix list is also that IP address that we gave no entries over here. Achha. DSCP, let me tell you what it is. Endpoint, understood? Connecting with S3 or DynamoDB over internet. Endpoint services, understood? Me connecting with my services in my data center. NAT gateway, private network, peering connection already seen, which brings me to the last thing, honestly. And that last thing is, let me just, okay. Last thing is this EC2 instance that I created. No. Do you see any public DNS over here? Nothing, right? What is the DNS name? AP south1.compute.internal. Why is it compute.internal? Why is it not apsouth1.com? Why is it like that? Someone should be deciding it, right? That answer is your this DSCP option set over. Okay. You are saying that the IP address name would be apsouth1.compute.internal. If you want to change it, change it. It will change. Like in your case, you might see if your company's website is abc.com. You will see the IP, the remote names would be 10.10.10.10.abc.com. And you're wondering how did that happen? Nothing magical. Click over here, give the domain name, that's it. It will create everything over there. Okay. Now, one more thing. Sometimes over here, you see this DNS host name. Okay. To understand that, remember, I don't have a public DNS here. Okay. The reason is in some cases, go to VPC, action, DNS host name, this would not be enabled. If you enable and you click on save changes, you see it is not there, right? But if you refresh this instance, you see it came up, right? Why? Because the DNS host name was not available. This. You uncheck it again, same thing will happen. Again, it will blow off. Again, gone. Got it? Doesn't happen with everyone. Few accounts it is enabled, few account it is disabled. Generally, if you are having a new account, it is disabled by default. Okay, new account as in after 2020.
Reason behind that?
2020, a migration happened of VPC from version 1 to version 2. My company's account is back of 2012. So there it is disabled by default, enabled by default. Here now in the new accounts, it is disabled. So any existing account, no, they don't change it. Why? AWS will say, I am not reading your data. If AWS goes and will change it, how will AWS know if it is changed or not? It will have to go and read your data. What is rule number 1? I will not read your data. So AWS doesn't do only anything. That is a big problem with AWS or any cloud provider. Even if I have to go and fix something at your end, I can't go and tell you something is wrong with your machine. Why? Because if I go and tell something is wrong, you will say, how do you know something is wrong? Who told you something is wrong? AWS will say, I did some test. You are doing some test. It means that you are reading my information. Rule number 1 is I will not read your information. So AWS, even if something is wrong, it will not tell you something is wrong. Okay. Let me give you a small proof of that actually. Just give it. Like It is just a minute. Here, actually have a look at this. One of the machines that we had over here, no, should come up. One of the machines we created in this cloud provider, DigitalOcean, we were installing Elastic Logstash Kibana, ELK over here, okay? They straight away said that, see, I think that Elasticsearch is doing. And then especially they will say, Array, please see, I am not doing it. I don't know if it actually happened or not. But I feel in a security test, this happened. This is telling you that you have done something wrong. But if I go back to them and say, how do you know something is wrong? They will say, Array, I did some test over here. I did this telnet over here and it gave me some response. So I feel something is wrong. So especially they will go and tell you that we are not aware if it happened or not. Okay, you want to take action, you take. Don't want to take, you don't take. But this is something that happened. Also, we know that you might have done it intentionally. So in that case, don't do anything. This is what other cloud providers, like I work on this DigitalOcean we have recently started. This is also a good cloud provider, DigitalOcean. So they are telling us. So people do like this. AWS will never do something like this. If something is wrong, they will say you live with it. Why did you do wrong? Okay. So that is the concept that cloud providers generally might tell you that something has gone wrong. Okay, cool. If this is understood, this concept of VPC is understood, VPC, all these things, fine. If this is understood, please tell me what is the difference between a Aggress gateway and a NAT gateway. That's it. One question. Aggress gateway, NAT gateway. Correct, NAT. Perfect, that's the answer. NAT gateway said Elastic IP. Elastic IP is IPv4. If you have, it means you have understood it pretty good. Because to answer this, you should know NAT gateway only asked you for Elastic IP. Elastic IP is only available for IPv4. That's the short answer. NAT gateway, IPv4. Aggress gateway. Aggress gateway is a public gateway. NAT gateway itself is not a public gateway. NAT gateway itself will be dependent on either an internet gateway or Aggress gateway. That is option number 2. Okay. Someone will ask you, like, I have seen now people asking this question a lot actually. What is the difference between a Docker image and a Docker container? Okay, don't start with the difference. Straight away say, Array, everything is different only. Docker image is instruction. Docker container is the actual code which is running in a runtime by Docker daemon. Everything fundamentally is different. Please give this answer. Similarly, if I ask you a question like this one, NAT and Aggress, what is different? Straight away IPv4, and that is correct answer. Yes, but please make it obvious to them that you understand. Then both are fundamentally different only. IPv4 is NAT, that is IPv6. NAT gateway itself is not a gateway. It is a transit gateway between your router and between your subnets. By router, I mean gateway. So both are fundamentally different. Ideal question is, what is the difference between Aggress gateway and an internet gateway? There I can tell IPv4 and IPv6. But please keep it in your mind that when you are answering this question, make it pretty obvious that I know both of the things are pretty much different. Okay. Now, second thing, and the last one. Okay, what is the difference between an internet gateway and an Aggress gateway? Internet gateway and Aggress gateway. Come on. We did know internet gateway and Aggress gateway. Similarities, I know both are gateways, will help me in connecting to internet. Internet, that is the similarity, yes, and correct, that is the only difference. IPv4, that is IPv6, that's the answer, yes, fine. If I remove internet gateway and only keep Aggress gateway, will I be able to connect to the internet? Why? Okay, I keep both, it is working. I remove internet gateway and only keep Aggress gateway. Can I connect to internet? Why?
because I think that's only.
Correct, that is the answer. It will still work, but only for IPv6 addresses. And the problem is not every website in this world has IPv6. Okay, so your ideal answer is keep both, it will work. Remove internet gateway, or sorry, remove Aggress gateway, almost everything will still work because almost everything still is working on IPv4. If you remove internet gateway and keep Aggress, you will start to see very less websites would work now. Why? Only the websites which support IPv6 will work. If websites are not supporting IPv4, then it will fail. Got it? So internet gateway removed generally means everything gone. But again, it might not mean. Like facebook.com works on both IPv4 and IPv6. This you will see a strange problem in companies. Means if you see it, people will say, I don't know, facebook.com is working, bestcom.co.in is not working. Because bestcom is working on IPv4. Facebook is working on both IPv4 and IPv6. It simply means problem is with IPv4. Facebook is working on both, so IPv6 is also working. Bestcom is not working on IPv6, so Bestcom is not working. Got it? You will see strange problems like this. Like I was in Stockholm 2013-14 when this problem started. We were connecting to the machines via the office. It used to work, broadband it used to work, cyber means coffee cafes and all it used to work. While we were traveling in tram or in the ferry, it didn't used to work. Later we realized that if we are doing it via ferry or via metro, tram as we call it, if we are doing it via that, there we were connecting via our phones. Phones are all IPv6 hotspot, IPv6. Our network did not have a Aggress gateway attached. Okay, that is why we were unable to connect. And if we were connecting via our home or office, that is broadband. Broadband is IPv4. Okay, that is not always the case. Like you see today, this one strangely is working on IPv6. I also don't know why. So if you see my IP address, it is by default giving me IPv6 address. But again, if you go over here, it is giving you both IPv4 address and IPv6 address. Okay, but generally broadbands will have IPv4 address only, not IPv6. So in our case, if you want to tell this story, please tell it as it is. We were unable to connect to the network only while traveling, or via hotspot we were unable to connect. Broadband, it was working. The problem was that it was actually via my Aggress gateway was not attached. If they ask you a question, what is one of the very interesting thing that you solved? Tell them nothing to do with AWS. It is a generic concept, but I realized it very late actually. The same thing from broadband. If it were the case today, I would be able to connect to AWS or not? Yes or no? Today broadband is IPv6. So can I connect to AWS? I can, because it has both IPv4 and IPv6. If only IPv6 was there, no. If I had Aggress, I would be able to connect. If I had internet gateway, I would not be able to. Okay, cool. Fine. So this part is done. S3 and VPC is done. Peering is done. Fine. We good till here? Any questions if you have? Nothing. We proceed. Yes. Okay. So let's go to the next concept of security. We'll take a break of a minute. Okay. We'll listen. Start. Next up, security. Security basically is this part understood, no VPC, right? It's not understood. You will go home today, you will read about it, you will listen to the video again, and then you will understand. Next week, Saturday, again, once you are back, we will ask if you have the questions. Now, two things, network ACL and security group. First of all, interview question for sure is on this. ACL versus security group. My advice, ACL versus SG, Google, this, enter images, and these are the answers. Okay, but what does it mean? Let's go and talk about that. Remember, this will be asked in the interviews for sure. Network ACL versus security group. Now, first of all, the concept. If you create an instance, a machine, you have something known as a firewall, right? That machine has a firewall, right? That inside AWS is known as a security group. Got it? So what is a security group? Firewall of that machine. The concept about security group is security group can only allow. You say HTTP traffic allowed, HTTPS traffic allowed, SSH allowed, FTP allowed, that is security group. Security group also does not have any priority. For instance, I go to security group, you see this over here. Inbound, who is allowed? Port number 22 is allowed. You want to add HTTP traffic, edit, add, and add HTTP. And who can do? Anyone can do. Got it? So now what is allowed? HTTP is allowed. You say, okay, HTTP, along with that, I want HTTPS also. Add rules and go and make it HTTPS. 443 exactly. And it is also allowed. Got it? That is security group. The only thing is security group will work at instance level. Also, security group can only allow. If you want to deny something, you cannot, or rather you can with one way. Let's say I want to deny port number 80 only, block port number 80. What I will do, I will go to security group. Delete it is one, or only block 80. Anything coming on 80, you block it. Allow 0 to 79. Allow 81 to 65,535. Skip 80 only. Okay, but that is stupid, right? Because why will you want to allow everything? Correct? For this thing, we have the concept of NACL, Network Access Control List. You will call this as NACL only in the interviews. Those who work on AWS, we only say NACL, not NACL, not Network Access Control List, only NACL. Use this word, okay? Pronunciation is important. If they ask you what is the difference between security group and network access control list, because you want to tell them that you work on AWS, you will say security group has only allow, NACL has both allow and deny. Next concept, security group works at instance level. Now, understand, one subnet can have multiple instances. So one subnet will have multiple security group, right? Assuming I have one subnet, I have 10 instances. How many security group I will have? At least 10. Okay. Now that is also a possibility that one security group can be shared, but still one NACL or one subnet will have 10 security groups. Go till here? Fine. You say, why are you putting one security group or 10 security group? Why don't you go and apply everything at the subnet level itself? Understood? Instead of instance by instance, all these subnets are having 10 database instances. Go and apply one common logic to all of them at the subnet level. That concept is your NACL. If you go and click on NACL, it will ask you, tell me what VPC you want. Let's go and call it as private. Done. Next, same old rule. Go and edit NACL and add a subnet to this. Did you see this somewhere else? Right? Route table, we did that, right? Route table, we went and added the subnets, right? Same thing over here. The concept of NACL is, if you go and create a NACL, you can go and give the inbound rules and you can go and give the outbound rules. That anyhow was there in security group also. Security group can only allow. NACL can block. What do I mean by that? Let's take this example. I say that, see, go and allow everything, all the traffic allowed, and go and block only my MySQL port. Why? Remember, MySQL or MS SQL should be private. If it is private, no one can make any communication with it. Maybe someone one fine day does an error. To do an error, what I have to do? Simply go and attach my subnet. My database instances are inside a subnet. I just have to go and attach this subnet to a route table. And that route table is attached to the gateways. So my database is exposed to the internet, right? So what additional security will you put on top of it? Only one mistake I have to do to make it public. So how will you stop it then? What you will do is you will go and create an explicit NACL on that subnet. Inside that NACL, you will say deny, and deny what? MS SQL 1433. Got it? It means even if you go and attach a gateway, and let's put rule number, let's say 100, 90 and 100. Even if you go and allow it via internet gateway, still if anyone is trying to communicate with my machines inside that subnet, it will still be blocked because my NACL is blocking. Got it? Got till here? Now comes the last concept. You see these rules. Where did it? What are the rules? All traffic is denied. 100 says all traffic is allowed. 90 says deny this one. What happens? Here, last concept. Security group, everything is allowed, or everything, whatever you allow, it doesn't have any priority. knuckle has priority. Rule number 90 has more priority than 100. 100 has more priority than this. Got it? So rule number 100 says allow everything. This rule says block everything. Which one wins? Allow everything, right? 100 says allow everything. This one says block everything. Which one will win? Allow everything. 100 says allow everything. 90 says block 1433. Which one will win? 90. Combine both of them. What will happen? Allow everything except port number 1433. Got it? Now you do whatever you want. No one can communicate with your database. Got it? Now, if this is understood, tell me what does this mean? Or what will be the end result in this case? Do we start? Okay. What is the end result of this? See, last one actually doesn't matter. What is grayed out? It doesn't matter because it says deny everything. 100 says allow everything. So what is the end result? Allow everything. 80 says what? Allow 1433. 90 says what? Deny 1433. Which wins? Allow 1433, right? So inside 80 and 90, what is the end result? Allow 1433. 100 says what? Allow everything. 80 says what? Allow 1433. 100 says what? Allow everything. What is the end result? Allow everything. Sure. Got it? All of you.
But 90 was showing,
So for that, 80 and 90 are in a conflict.
first priority, first one.
80 says what? Allow 1433, right?
90 first.
After that, we have 80. 80 as the highest priority. 80 says, whatever happens, you have to allow 1433. Whatever happens, allow 1433. Rule 1, keep it in mind. 90 says, block 1433. But rule number 1 was what? Whatever happens, allow 1433. Done. 100 says what? Allow everything. Combine both of them. What is the end result? Allow all the traffic, including 1433. Got it? Tell me what is the meaning of this. If this is understood. What is the end result in this? This one says what? Deny 1433, right? So what I have to keep in mind, I have to deny 1433. That is the topmost rule. This one says allow, I say you don't bother because I have 70 in my mind. This says deny, don't bother me. I know 70 says deny. This says allow everything. In my mind, what do I have? Allow everything except 1433. Got it? Let me make it one last level complicated and tell me if you understand this. Question.
So here recently, whatever rule which we have, that will work out.
Because both are in conflict, so whatever has a lower priority will actually win.
Is it? So, yeah.
No, lower priority. Lower priority. Okay, fine. Understood what you are saying. Okay, fine. I make it 110 now. Okay. Okay, no. All of you now tell me, this is a good thing. I actually missed out. Now tell me what is the answer. Hello. Sure. Allow everything.
First priority, last one.
Allow. So 80 is allowed. So that port I will allow for sure. Right? 80. So 1433, if you ask me anything, I will say allowed. 90 says deny, doesn't matter. 100 says allow everything, fine. So what is the end result? Allow everything, including 1433. 110 says what? Deny 1433. I say you don't bother me only. Why? Because 80 says allow everything. Got it? Now, last one. What is my IP address? This one, if you understood, we are done. Actually, other way around. Other way around it is. Now tell me what is the end result and just give me one answer. Don't play KBC now. Okay. Agree on one answer and tell me what is that.
Only the.
Only the rate.
Particular IP want to use. Please that will allow. That will deny. Whatever rules you give, that should be.
So what is the end result?
And result.
Double 306. We sitting in the institute, we can't open 1433, right?
Yes.
Rest, everything is enabled for us, and for the outer world, everything including 1433 is enabled. Understood, all of you? Means only we can't open 1433. That is it. Else we can do anything. And outer world, they can do anything they want. Good till here? Fine. Now, if tomorrow someone comes to you and says, this IP address is sending a lot of requests to us, go and blacklist it, what you will do? Simply go and give deny. Got it? Deny the IP address. So add that IP address, add it to the blacklist. If you do that, that traffic will be denied. Got it? All of us good till here? Fine. That is your knackle. Now going back over here, tell me if you understand this answer. Knackle versus security group. Images, let's go for the most complex one. Security group is for EC2, knackle is for subnet. Yes, both of them can control this at instance, knackle at subnet. Security group only for instances, knackle for additional layer, obviously subnet. Security group is stateful. This concept is different. See, the concept here is security group. Now, if you add anything inside inbound, outbound automatically is there. Whether you do it or you don't do it, it is added. Got it? This thing is known as stateful. 4 to 5 months back, they used to ask a lot about stateful versus stateless. Security group, if you give anything inside inbound, outbound automatically will be added. Or means it is not shown inside outbound, but you know if there is something inside outbound, inbound, outbound is there. If there is something inside outbound, inbound is there. Got it? That was known as stateful. Stateless is knackle, give it in inbound also, give it in outbound also, both are. Understood? Sure? Good. Next one, security group evaluates, knackle has priority. Security group at instance, at subnet, separate rules obviously because stateful and stateless. And then by default it denies, and this also denies. These are the similarities. Now you got the answer. Major things are stateful, stateless. Whenever they ask you, database is stateful, stateless. For sure, they will ask you what is stateful and what is stateless. Stateful is security group. Inbound you do, outbound is automatically added. If they say if I don't do in outbound, you say it doesn't matter only. Inbound is there, outbound is there, outbound is there, inbound is there. Stateless, inbound also, outbound also. What will happen? Interesting scenario. You are trying to make a connection with the database. You will say, I am trying to make a connection. I am not getting a response only. The admin database team will say, I can see you are making a connection from this IP, right? You will say, yes, I can see that the connection is successful. Why is it failing? Because knackle was allowing. Database was allowing that IP, right? Database is trying to respond back to you. Knackle doesn't have the IP address. The moment database goes out of the subnet, goes to knackle, knackle is saying you are not allowed. So your connection actually is being established. You are thinking it is not happening. Why? Because you are not getting a response. So for you, it is not working. Database team will see inbound is also happening, outbound is also happening. They will say it is working. You will say it is not working. This is where the network team, people like you will come in. You will say developers, you are not getting. Database administrators, you are seeing it. Obviously, problem is with the network. And where inside the network? knackle. Got it? Please use this scenario as it is inside your interface. Go till here. That is my security inside VPC. Fine. We proceed. Okay. Next comes my VPN, virtual private network. Like you had said, one of you over here, that I can make a connection with my own data center using VPN itself, right? So I told you there is something known as direct connect also, right? Let's go and have a look at that first. Remember, this TC is working at version 2. This version 2 is a global service. Earlier, we were working at version 1. Version 1 was a regional service. But fine, if I want to go and create a connection, create connection, give a name, Bangalore. Location, I want to create it with my data center of Bangalore over here. NetMagic data center in Bangalore, which has 2 zones, 1A and 1B. Select anyone, tell your bandwidth, 1 Gbps or 10 Gbps. What is this?
Gigabyte speed.
That I know gigabytes. And speed network. Router has a bandwidth, no, 200 Mbps, 300 Mbps. That is what we're saying. How much connectivity you want, 1 or 10? Never say 10. No one goes for 10 in this entire world. I have not seen even one person who went for 10. I know almost means hundreds of clients now. No one ever went for 10 Gbps. In your interview, if you say DC and if they ask you bandwidth, don't do the mistake of saying 10 Gbps. Always one only. 10 Gbps is 10 times expensive. Okay, the client is ready to wait. 1 Gbps is also a very big bandwidth. Okay, always 1 Gbps. And then, like I said, Airtel, NetMagic, Jio, Sifi, Vodafone, Tata. Click here, click on create connection. After 24 hours, you get a call from Airtel. Airtel will say, sir, what is your address? We want to install some. They will come to your address. They will install. They will start to take money. Remember, AWS is not taking any money. AWS is simply saying to Airtel that Airtel, you go install a 1 Gbps plan with these people. They will install. In your you have peace of mind that everything is over the private connection from my data center to AWS. Got it? This is via direct connect, first thing. But that is not only it. Earlier, people used to work with VPN. Customer gateway, virtual private gateway, and a connection. We start. Okay. First thing, one router I will have to add inside my data center in Bangalore right now. One router I will have to attach outside my VPC. It happens somewhere over here. My gateway. This gateway would be attached with my router over here. Okay, so 2 gateways I need. One is this customer gateway. One is virtual private gateway. Customer gateway is what I do it at my end, my home. Virtual private gateway is what I do inside AWS. To make a connection between both of them, I use a site-to-site VPN connection. Got it? That's it. See, customer gateway, create, give a name. Okay, and give your IP address. What was the IP address this site? Create, done. Next, create a virtual private gateway. Where? Inside AWS and right? Create, give it a name. Done. Obviously, you will have to attach it, right? To whom? VPC. Which VPC? Your VPC. Okay. Done. That's it. Gateways are done. This gateway and customer gateway is done. Now the only thing left is to go and attach both of them. Create a connection. Name it something. Private gateway, which I did. Customer gateway, which I did. Though you will start to see one interesting thing over here also. Transit gateway. We are coming to that. Virtual private gateway is this. Customer gateway is this. Boom, done. But that is not it. One thing I missed. What is the most important thing inside VPC? Route tables. Route tables here. RT1, RT2, RT3, right? You created a gateway. Gateway in your mind, you are happy. Your data center AWS is connecting. But you have to connect with instances inside the subnets. You cannot connect with the instances directly, right? You have to attach to a route table first. So what you have to do is, whichever way you want, go to that route table over here. And basically, this one, actions, and okay, wherever it is, route, edit, add, and whatever gateway you created, what virtual private gateway, right? This, and give your IP address, whatever is your IP address. Got it? If you do this, then you are connected to that virtual private network. Failure to do any of these will ensure that your gateways are not working. Okay, in some time it will say This is attached, this is attached. This actually takes time, obviously, because it is a VPN. Okay. My advice, please go and delete it as soon as possible. The reason is this is again pretty expensive. Got it? Delete. Virtual private gateways and detach customer and delete. Now, client VPN endpoint, what is it? I inside my network have to communicate with my own data center over endpoints. Understood? My is on internet. My VPC is private. How will I connect? The same concept of endpoint which you had inside VPC, same you will put it over here inside VPN. That is your virtual private network endpoints. Good till here? That is your VPN. Two things are left, transit gateway and this. Do I continue? Yes or no? We continue? Fine. Next up is my transit gateway. Very easy. The only thing is transit gateway has to attach with multiple VPCs. First thing what you will do is you will simply go and click on create transit gateway. Name it something like gateway-1. Done. Next, gateway has to attach with multiple things. VPC, that concept is known as transit gateway attachments. That's it. Create attachment with what you want to connect. VPC, VPN, peering or direct connect. If you have VPC, just go and tell the VPC ID, whatever it is. I want this VPC to be connected. Where are you? Transit gateway attachment 1 and set. It's still creating. Will take time, let it happen. Attachment. In the meantime, transit gateway itself has a route table. Why? My VPCs have a route table, right? So why does transit gateway have a route table of its own? Nowhere else you will see a route table. You see VPN, you saw any route table? No. Inside peering connection, you saw any separate route table? No. Direct connect, no route table. Why does only a transit gateway have a separate route table? There should be something in transit gateway, no? Okay, to answer this. Correct. And you are almost round 2 again. You are ahead. First part I need.
Suppose anything down, then we need to divert to another.
Correct. Yes. And correct. Why is there? Why? Your answer is correct. You are there. Okay. What they mean is VPCs need a route table, right? Transit gateway is the VPC of VPCs. Understood? Individual VPCs will have a route table. That is fine. Transit gateway is attaching all these VPCs. So I can't go with one VPC and say I will follow your route table. I need to have my own master route table. That is why transit gateway only has a route table of its. In this case, you have to worry about 2 route tables. One at the VPC level and one at the transit gateway route table. Main this, but then again, if you only do it at transit gateway, it's like saying I created VPN and it should work. Because my VPN is my network, it should work. But at VPC route table also you will have to go and check. Got it? This one is a bit tricky. Now, the reason for that is, if I go over here now to any of the route tables, routes over here, edit routes, add route. If you see over here, you see a transit gateway, no? Which means a transit gateway should also be present inside the route table. Got it? If that were not the case, I should not see a transit gateway inside VPC. But I see it, remember. So only in case of transit gateway, if I need to know if you have worked on transit gateway or not, no, I will ask you, you just tell me the routing of. Because creation is nothing. Creation, you go and create, it will be available. Next attachment, done. Attachment 1. This, how do you want to connect? With a VPC? With VPC, done. Create, boom. That's it. Attachment 1. You have another VPN. This, I would have selected VPN. It will tell me select the customer gateway. Done. If I need to connect via DC, this thing I will go and put DC. It will come up inside dropdown only. I don't have to apply any logic on top of it. It's very easy. The point to understand is, after doing this, no, you have to go to your policy tables and to your route table. policy table is to allow specific things like abc.com, xyz.com, because remember you are different VPCs. It might be different account also. Your company is Microsoft.com, you are Azure.com, both have to interact. There I need the policy, but priority route tables. Here, go and tell me what association with what attachment you want to give. Why attachment? Attachment is VPC, attachment is VPN, attachment is transit gateway, attachment is direct connect. So I will create a route table for attachment, and this attachment VPC itself will have a route. So it works at two levels. Bit confusing. So no one will go over here, honestly. Just know is transit gateway is so easy to create that you just have to understand that I have to go and create a gateway and attachment, and that's pretty much it. It should work. Okay, but the problem is understanding a route table. Transit gateway has a route table. Transit gateway route table itself has a router or a routing policy, and that routing policy is nothing but a VPC, and that VPC itself has a route table. Okay, so you create a transit gateway and you say every network will connect to every other network. No, technically it should, but remember each of the transit gateway attachment has, let's say I have 6 networks, right? These 6 networks inside their route tables have to allow all the 5 different networks. Failure to do any one of this will block the connectivity. That is transit gateway. Okay, that is why I started by saying route table is the most important thing inside your VPC. Got till here? And transit gateway though is nothing only. You just go and create this. Acha, you have a multicast also over here. The concept is you go and give this multicast. You understand? No. Good. Let me tell you this first. Let me delete and then I will tell, because transit gateway itself creating. Why did I add that? Now do we complicate it somewhat? Okay, let's start. Okay, let's start. abc.com, xyz.com. abc.com transit gateway 1. I have 4 VPCs, 2 VPN, 2 direct connect. How many routing policies I have? 1 of transit gateway, 8 over here. How many total? 9. xyz.com. You have 2 VPNs, 2 transit gateways. Your transit gateway itself is connected to 2 transit gateways. Okay. How many policies you have? 1 transit gateway, 3, that total of 4. Fine. I have to communicate with your network where I have to do the entries. Inside my 8 networks, inside you, inside your 4 networks. So who is the master of the data over here? Transit. Peering only we removed and we added transit gateway. No. So who is the master of the data over here? Transit. I am transit gateway. You are a transit gateway. Who is the master of data? Who will decide? Good. That's the question. That's the answer. Multicast. Go and add this multicast over here. Tell me that who will be supporting. Okay. Do this and you become the master. Obviously, next person has to accept it. And the route tables have to accept. If you do it, my transit gateway can also go and do the routing at next gateway level as well. Got it? Transit gateway, for this reason, you will see not many people, means people love talking about a transit gateway, but route table concepts you have to understand very well, actually. Understood? Transit gateway, all the things, their route table, transit gateway route table, his transit gateway route table. And the problem with transit gateway route table, transit gateway is, if you go for attachment, no. Over here, transit gateway can support VPC, VPN, peering, and connect. But a transit gateway can attach other transit gateways also. How? What I told him, no, this multicast address. Same thing. I am abc.com. I am microsoft.com. Microsoft.com, I have azure.com also. I have xbox.com also. And I have, what all do they have? GitHub.com also. Okay. 3 I have. GitHub.com itself is a very big thing. So it will have its own transit gateway. Microsoft.com will have its own transit gateway. Azure.com will have its own transit gateway. How many transit gateways I have? 3. Central, okay. Xbox.com, 1 more transit gateway. How many? 4. Whole Microsoft will have 1 transit gateway. How many gateways? 5. Microsoft.com has to make a connectivity with AWS. AWS has its own transit gateways. Understood? This is where complication starts. And why it becomes difficult? You do error at any one level. Microsoft.com, or let's say I am unable to connect with my Xbox servers in India. Why? Microsoft.com, Xbox.com transit gateway. Xbox.com will have India transit gateway. India transit gateway will have across all the 5 metro transit gateways, and that transit gateways will have hundreds of VPNs or VPC. Do error at any one of the route table and it will fail to work. That is why we say networking is so difficult. To make it to work, you have to do many things. To make it as a private network, just while doing things, don't pay attention. It will become private. Okay, that is why it is so complicated. Anyways, VPC we understand, security we understand, VPN we understand, transit gateways we understand. Only thing left is these things, basic. Now, let me complete it because these things are theoretical. Okay, even if you don't pay attention, 100% guarantee no one will ever ask you this. 100%. But still, let me tell you. Network manager. This I was talking about also some time back. Remember, create a core network, Microsoft.com. It will have its own website. It will have its own segment. You can add another transit gateway on top of it. Whatever I was telling you, it was this cloud WAN. No company has reached at that level that they have to create their own cloud WAN. If they have, they are Microsoft, they created Azure. They are Google, they created GCP. They are Apple, they created iCloud. So if you are at that level, no, you will actually create your own cloud provider. You won't go to AWS. But nonetheless, if you want to do that, click over here, it will automatically open the network manager page where you can go and create whatever networks you want. Create a global network, go and give a description, let's say. Don't pay attention, give a DNS name, give if you have any specific base server as the location, give a name and description, and after that it is nothing but review. Done. It will create a global network for you. Okay, don't pay attention, no one will ask you. Next up, firewalls. Pretty easy. Firewall we understand, no? Whatever network we want to protect, go and create a VPC, tell inside what availability zone, what VPC you want to go and tell, and just go and enable it. It will go and create a firewall for you. Got it? Next, DNS firewall. What is the difference between network firewall and a DNS firewall, by the way? Firewall is a generic. Inside my network of Microsoft.com, I have Azure.com, GitHub.com. I want to protect everything. That is my network firewall. DNS firewall is Microsoft. Correct. Microsoft.com, I don't worry about you. I am only worried about Xbox.com. That is your DNS firewall. Okay. Go and give a name over here. Let's say whatever I can put, doesn't matter. Over here, go and add a rule. Which domain list, whatever you have, go and add the domain and tell whether it is allow, block, or alert. Okay, it will allow or it will block. Again, no one will ask you about that. Last thing is traffic mirroring. Understand the concept. I have sent some data to my servers. How does it go actually to my server? Now tell me if you understand. It goes somehow to AWS Mumbai, AWS Mumbai to internet gateway to route table to my subnet, subnet to my machine. Fine. Same thing it will go back while coming back. Now, if I get a message over there, that message, if I want to log it, do you want to log it? Obviously you want to log it, right? Whatever message you are getting, you are logging it. Why? Tomorrow you go to Zomato and you say, I got an order yesterday. You delivered something. I never ordered it. What will Zomato say? No. You have ordered. You clicked here. You clicked here. You clicked here. You clicked confirm. You gave OTP at this time. I am logging all of it. If you come tomorrow and say, no, that I didn't do, I will show you the logs. Logging is important. Fine. Logging happens where? Inside your hard disk. Storage. Storage is slow. Right. It means for if storage logging is taking 1 second, processing of that data is taking 1 second, how much time it is actually taking? 1 second when it came to my network, I am logging 1 second in processing. When it is going out, I am logging that also. So how much time it is taking in total? 3 seconds. In logging, how much time I am wasting? 2 seconds. Processing is taking 1 second. So can I optimize this? Yes, I will say logging you don't do. People will say your services are fast. It is taking only 1 second. Improvement of 67%. The problem? Correct. There should be a proof. And logging will take time, I know for sure. Whatever thing you do in the world, it will take time because it has to write the data. Writing takes time. So how do I protect it? AWS created something. I don't know why. I also don't use it. No one in the world uses it. Traffic mirroring. Simple concept is data comes to you, create a copy of it. This thing will go and take 1 second. This copy will go and take 2 seconds, whatever it is. You are happy. You will say my response came in 1 second. I am happy. My logs are on the replica. My logs are happening. Logging, even if it takes 1 hour, 2 hour, 5 hour, it doesn't bother me. But do it. Don't escape it. Do it. Take more time. That is fine. Okay. Tomorrow, if you go to Zomato and you say in 2003, I did an order. What is the proof I did? They will say, hold on. I have logs. It took 1 year in writing, but I have it. Come back tomorrow. I will tell you why. Okay. That is the proof actually. This concept is known as, now you understand, traffic mirroring, mirror it. Whatever packet came, create a copy, replica, clone, whatever you call it. And once you do, you go and do whatever processing you want. People are happy, but no one does it, obviously, because expensive also, and I don't think people know about it also. Mirror sessions. Nothing you have to do, go and create a target. Target is nothing but your machine, which is your network interface or your load balancer. Also, now you have option of gateway. Why do I have gateway? Because you will say AWS, logging I am not doing inside your infrastructure. It is happening inside my infrastructure. VPN has what? Gateways, right? A customer gateway and AWS gateway. So I will forward it to my net. Got it? That concept is known as mirror targets. Then you have mirror filter. Filter though is very easy to understand. Do you want to log everything? Yes. Or do you say that financial data you log? People are clicking on notification, not clicking. That is not that important for to log, right? So if you want, you can add the filters also. How? Click over there and tell me what are the rules. This I believe you might have seen, accept and reject. Seen somewhere, right? Where? NACL. Code name NACL. Remember that. Okay. So NACL, you have seen that. Good. Next thing. Same thing. You will go and add it to the sessions. Create. Tell what is the source, what is the target. Source would be my gateway. Target would be my instance or gateway to gateway, whatever you use. This thing is known as mirroring. Don't say this in the interviews, but tell, I did a small POC for mirroring. My client was a bank. We started doing traffic mirroring because I was in the test environment. In the dev, we did it. So why didn't you proceed? No, we didn't proceed because the client said budget is too high. Just for cloning the data, duplicating the data, will I do this? And actually it is not 1 second. It is 1 microsecond. 1 microsecond, instead of 1 microsecond, it will take 3 microseconds. People won't even observe it because it is so small number. No, people won't observe it. Only if you do million transactions, 10 to the power of 6, it will become 3 microseconds. 3 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into 10 to the power of 3, which is 3000 seconds. For each 1 second, you have 3000 seconds of delay. Until you do million transactions, you won't even observe it. That is why my client said no. Tell them I understand the concept. I did a POC. I did it in dev environment also. But my client never agreed. He said too expensive. That is why we were unable to do it. Got it? That is your mirroring and that is your VPCs. Any questions if you have? No?